The Red Sox got a pair of home runs from Roman Anthony and Jarren Duran. That was all the offense they needed. Beat the Orioles last night 4-3. Pitcher Richard Fitz left the game with tightness in his biceps. Set to be reevaluated today. Game 2 of that 4-game series tonight in Baltimore. Lucas Giolito gets to start. He'd been on medical leave from the team since June. Yesterday, Angels manager Ron Washington confirming he's recovering from quadruple bypass surgery. The 73-year-old Washington said he hopes to return to managing the team next season. Patriots and the rest of the NFL have until 4 o'clock today to cut their rosters down to 53 players. Among those already released around the league, former Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi cut by the Chiefs yesterday. 2 NFL players ending their hold-ins agreeing to new contracts. Receiver Terry McLaurin gets a 3-year extension from the Commanders worth up to $96 million. Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson nearly doubled his salary to $30 million for this year, and he'll get to be an unrestricted free agent after the season. Former Pats receiver Jacoby Myers telling the Raiders he wants to be traded after he and the team failed to reach agreement on a new contract. So the Raiders went out and signed free agent receiver Amari Cooper to a 1-year deal. They also traded for quarterback Kenny Pickett from Cleveland to back up Geno Smith. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Clinton Savings Bank. Are interest rates keeping you from buying a home? With Safeguard Mortgage, modify your rate once within the first 5 years. Apply at clintonsavings.com. Member FDIC, DIF, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 422081. I'm Ryan Johnston of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines in around 30 minutes.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
They love the show. In fact, they said, Fred, you're the best.
And Hardy.
Who's Taylor the originator?
On 98.5.
Hello.
Hey there.
Aloha.
Bonjour.
How are we doing?
What? I'm an animal.
Can we use this for the radio? No, Nick, with your drinking at noon on Mondays.
Well, I tell her the truth, I miss Booty.
That problem is too large for the Sarge.
You know how I feel about clowns on morning shows?
I'm just saying, hello.
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back
25 glasses of soda.
Having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Remember, life is like crab rangoon from the Great Kowloon. Sounds like you need a poo-poo platter.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Today, Andrew Callahan and Ryan Johnston are in as John and Hardy are gone for the week. Both are staying home. At least Hardy is doing things. I mean, I guess he played some golf course yesterday, according to Instagram, that you'll hear about on the golf show. Yeah, golf show. And that is Sunday mornings, I believe, very early. And I think this is the last golf show of the year.
That's what he said.
Oh. So, I mean, he got to go out and play a lovely golf course, and then you'll hear all about it. Because I was in the car when going to one of my son's events years ago when he had come back from the Masters, and he did it live from like his house, the show. And he took you from when he got on the plane to when he got off the plane to when he drove over to Augusta to when he walked through. I mean, it was like a half an hour of stream of consciousness storytelling that was just, he was very excited. And it's like 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and you're just like, ooh, wow. I wish I liked anything as much as you like going to that Masters, I'll tell you that. I'm going to like Northborough or something to go to some 9 o'clock game.
I mean, that is for Hardy like a visit to Mecca. I mean, that's
the one episode I would listen to as a non-golf guy, but it wasn't doing it for you?
I mean, I certainly appreciated his enthusiasm. I mean, I did appreciate how much he liked it. It is weird how much people, look at something like a golf course that's man-made and it's in Augusta, which is a dump. I mean, everything around there is a dump. I mean, it really is.
It's becoming less dumpy, Fred. They're buying up all the land.
Okay, because it's taken quite a while. Because when I lived in Atlanta, the Hooters. Not that Hooters is like bad, but it doesn't speak of class and elegance. The Hooters that was right next to the Augusta Nationals, where John Daly would park his, RV and then do signings and stuff from there. There was literally a Long John Silver's across the street. So I mean, it was. Augusta's not a nice place.
Augusta National, I was just reading about this maybe about a month ago. They're basically buying up all of the land anywhere near the golf course, bulldozing everything, and turning it into parking for the Masters.
So their own Patriot Place coming to Augusta.
I guess.
They said Foxborough, we want this.
No commercialism. It's just literally just.
Well, you got it already. You got the Long
land.
John Silver's, and what was the other spot? The Hooters?
Well, the
John
Hooters
Daly.
is gone. He's either going away or has gone away.
Well, they have to keep that for John. Where else is John going to go?
I would assume that
like
the people of Augusta are thrilled with that too. Like the people that live there, that all the commerce is leaving and all the places to go are leaving. Maybe they should just cede the town to Augusta National. But I mean, certainly on the Masters, I mean, when it's April and it's cold here, and then or most of the places I've lived, and you look at the Masters and it's all manicured and it's nice outside, it's certainly a nice thing to look at for a few minutes, but I don't get the point of going there. My father really always wanted to go there because I was like, where do you want to go when I, got into radio, because I could get tickets to a lot of stuff. And he's like, the Masters. And I'm like, of course you do, because that's the thing I can't get tickets to. So there you go. That's what you want.
Tell me this. I think the Masters is the earliest advertised sporting event we have on the calendar. Like, it's late February, and I'm getting that little ESPN jingle when I'm watching a college basketball game on a Saturday. They're like, by the way, the Masters coming to you 7 weeks from now.
It's the same, it's the same time every year. Like, you don't, if you're into the Masters and you want to watch it, it's in early April every week, basically same week every year. Oh, yes.
Louisville 44, Kentucky 38. But Jim Nance is on the horizon. There he is, waiting for you.
I wonder if they feel because the Super Bowl's over and you're watching college basketball, regular season college basketball, that they need to tell you that something's coming up. Because even I watched. What's that?
There's light at the end of the tunnel post-football?
Yeah, I guess so. Because even I watched the, last half of the last round of this year's Masters, because that was the McIlroy one, right? When he won, that was this year, right? Yeah, I even watched that. Yeah, that
yes.
music and and those voiceovers, as if they're doing something really important that's more important than anything else. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it has seduced many, many men. It's not like Hardy grew up, doing stuff like that or belonging to a country club or anything like that. Hardy picked up that game as an adult. And something seduced him into that idea that the Masters was this usually childlike wonder is reserved to being a child. And like, unless if you grew, I saw this thing and I would show it to my son, not my daughter, because she doesn't really care about stuff like this, but there was a kid whose dad, it went viral. It was a kid whose dad gave him Cubs tickets, just Cubs tickets. They lived in Illinois. Regular season Cubs game, and he gives the kid the tickets, and the kid's like bawling his eyes out because he gets to see a Cubs game. And I showed it to my son, and I said, look at how other kids react to things. And, if you're a little kid and then your dad takes you there and you cried when you got the tickets and you finally get there and everything is new to you, I'd imagine you'd always have this like fetishized view of Wrigley, right? Like it forever would be this magical place for you because you went there when you were a kid.
It's like when Billy Crystal talks about the first time he went to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, or everyone during that baseball Ken Burns documentary talked. It was the freshest grass I'd ever seen. It was the only thing in my life that was ever in color. Everything else was in black and white. You know, the old corner store was in black and white, but then I went there. It was the only time I ever saw grass. Yeah, the way that that I've seen that baseball documentary maybe 3 times all the way through. And the third time I watched it was just to see the people with the tweed jackets on. The dorks talk about how they were just.
Is there a lot of George Will in that documentary?
Oh, a lot of George Will. But George Will comes off as kind of like a young hipster in that thing. Compared to like the poets or like the history professors. It's weird who they got for the baseball documentary. It really is. It's like it's professors. They got like it's Ken Burns' people. Like he got a bunch of his posse to show up and start talking about. Why are you talking about base? And they all are from New York, all of them. And then there's that 2.5 hours about how the Brooklyn Dodgers moved, and nothing else has happened since then. No one else has lost a team. It was the Brooklyn Dodgers that should still be around, right?
It's a little early for this, but would you believe me if I told you I hooked up during the Ken Burns baseball documentary?
First of all, why is that early? Because it's very sexual of you, that you're being very
Yeah, I think we're all waking up a little bit, and that's more like, here, take a double shot of espresso here, straight to the ears.
Yeah, because, Callahan banging some broad this is real intense stuff.
Nothing says sexy time like putting on a Ken Burns documentary.
So junior year of college, I took the first ever, it was a baseball class at UConn, and the class was about its place in society, a little bit of history, all this different stuff. So naturally, they say you got to watch all 10 episodes. There's a girl in that class, and comes over.
There was a girl in the class?
There was one girl sat right next to me.
Hot,
just luck of the Irish right there in real time.
That sounds like the biggest sausage party class you could ever take.
Well, big softball star, too. So, she was.
Grew up in Cleveland. And is related to Mike Lombardi. This is really for you, Fred. You'd almost think I'm making this up.
No, because it seems like you really were slumming it there for a moment. All right, go ahead.
So we obviously go back to my place at some point, put on the documentary because you got to do your homework. And things start. She kind of pumps her brake a little bit. I go, well, for a girl whose last name, I kid you not, is Balk, B-A-L-K. I said, I thought I'd get an extra base tonight. And it worked. We never finished the documentary.
You had sex with her?
Yeah.
With that line? She laughed at that line?
We're watching Ken Burns' baseball documentary. That was the thinnest pretense possible for what are you doing tonight? We could do this on our own. We could not do it at all. Let's not do it at all together. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, did you ever have sex with her again?
A couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was more attractive than you would think for a girl that was in the baseball class?
Was not, as you described, softball player with strong implications there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the softball implication just is that, if you turn on a, college softball game, the girls are generally, they all look the same. There's not a lot of varying degrees of looks. Now, if that's your proclivity, that's none of my business. But yeah, if you take if you get a girl back to your room and you put something on television when you're in your 20s, generally that would lead you to assume that you're at least hooking up. Now, having sex is another matter, but hooking up for sure. Like if I got a girl back and I put on Singles, which was when I was in college, what I would put on the Cameron Crowe movie Singles. I put that on, and that generally meant that I was at least hooking up. Not necessarily getting laid.
That was your sock on the door?
No, that was just like, do you want to, like I wouldn't even say, do you want to come back and watch a movie?
Just the pretense of getting the woman back to your place.
Yeah, like I didn't go out on dates or take girls out to dinner. So you'd be at a party or something and you'd go, you want to come back to my place? And, if it wasn't, you were madly making out on in the hallway before you got to the room, you'd get into the room and I'd put on Singles and then we'd sit on the couch and start talking, and then that was kind of what I would do. Now I didn't do it often because it wasn't like I was getting laid all the time, and a lot of times I put it on, I didn't get laid, I just hooked up.
Did you have any bait, or were you just you want to come back to my place? Was there any reason or pretense there?
No, it wouldn't be do you want to come back and watch Singles? It would just be I had finessed her enough to get her to my room, and then it was just I'm going to put this on. just so something else, like, you could put on music or you could put on something else. Like,
Yeah.
I figured that if I put on a movie that's like, I'm not like Wallach that would put on, Keith Sweat, which is just like, yeah. And like put on like a kimono and then like, start dancing around. I would put on singles and I would sit next to them like on the futon or whatever the hell or used couch or whatever the hell we had bought. And, chances are if they sat down to watch singles after we'd been like out drinking and stuff, that they were at least going to hook up. Like now, a lot of times I didn't get laid. I went to a small school, so there was like, it wasn't as easy. Like I've said this on before. I went to Michigan State for a couple weekends, like a few weekends. And I would say 75% of the time I got laid at Michigan State because girls just didn't care.
Batting .750, my man.
There was 35,000 people there. Like it was amazing. Like you would just go out and people would be walking around and then you would just go, you went into my friend's house and they go, yeah, I had sex with a girl in a bathroom. Like at my friend's house, like girls were very much promiscuous just because there was no threat of it getting out. Like they were experimenting. They wanted to, get their potty counts up a little bit because it was like this like untold freedom that they had.
You didn't overlap with Hardy like that. I know that's a low percentage shot in the dark.
I think he's like 5 years older than me. So,
you know what his bait was?
Ultimate Frisbee.
You want to come watch the Masters, 1979, and the little music.
I got
play.
the '86 Masters queued up. We can watch Nicholas.
It still moves when he plays it. He hears it in the commercial.
He's like, I have pictures of Ben Hogan, and you can see shot by shot his backswing and how he transitions. I have everything.
This is where I grabbed my 3-wood. His 3-wood.
Yes, it was a little more difficult at my school to get laid. To get laid, not to hook up necessarily, but to get laid, because you had to. Everyone kind of knew each other at a certain point, and if you were going to hook up with a girl, there was this expectation that there would be in a relationship, and they didn't want. And it's unfair to the girl because if they had sex with you and then like everyone found out they had sex with you, then there would be this. If they went out and had sex with another guy, then there would be this thing like, oh, she's having sex with all these people, which is unfair.
Yeah.
But at Michigan State, even for a guy, kind of, you would get that too. At Michigan State, they didn't care. Like it was all anonymous. It was like completely anonymous. I couldn't even tell you what the girls looked like not even remotely what they looked like. And it's not like I have like a laundry list of women I slept with. I haven't slept with like 100 women. Like I just don't. I mean, it was what? I'm 50. I was probably 20. So, yeah, 30 years. Who the hell remembers what they looked like? I don't remember. All I remember was one time, the first time it ever happened, I was out and I met her on, like, the street. Like, just, like, people were walking around to parties. It was, like, a weekend night. And she might even come up to me, which never happened because I'm ugly. And she came up to me and she was, like, certainly decent looking. And she was, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I have a friend who lives here. I don't go to school here, which put a pep in her step.
Oh, green light.
Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, he's got like alcohol at his house. And she's like, oh, cool. And she her and her friend came to my friend's house and we went inside and like I went in the kitchen and I do remember this. I went in the kitchen and got her whatever. And then she was we ended up in the bathroom and then her friend was like knocking on the door and I was having sex with her and she was yelling at her friend, shut up, stop knocking on the door. Because her friend was trying to C-block me and just knocking on the door and like, what are you doing in there? And then because she was by herself and the girl was like, stop. I'm not even positive I finished because I think maybe I just got annoyed with the girl knocking on the door and then I was just like,
Do you think
maybe
that
I got
girl
her
counted
pregnant.
it as a success?
Huh?
Like, how long was she knocking at the door?
Like off and on for 10 minutes.
Not a success.
Maybe she just had to
Didn't block
go.
anything.
Like, it's this guy's.
You powered
hogging the
through.
ball.
That's
Did
what
the
happened.
girl have
Yeah,
success
yeah.
blocking
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was more affected by it than the girl was. Like the girl was like shut up.
I mean, it sounds like neither of you were affected. 10 minutes is.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, but I think that at a certain point, I was like, this is like, I think it would have been quicker if there wasn't that going on in the background, because a bathroom isn't like the greatest place. I think she was like on the sink. For me, I'm a very traditional man. I love the art of being on a bed. I'm not wild about being in a gross bathroom at my friend's house, my 21-year-old friend's house, who's living with 3 other dudes in East Lansing. That wasn't
that's a nightmare bathroom.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't end up with anything. One day I'll tell you the chili story. It's not my story, but it's another guy that lived in that house story. He had a girl.
Chili.
She was trying to seduce him, and she had made this. Or he had made like this chili for like before a football game, and no one ever ended up going.
God.
Everyone had these plans that they were going to go to Michigan State games at noon, but no one ever went. Like they just too hungover. You'd start drinking and go like, "Why would I go to the game?" And the chili was quite spicy, and he ate it. And then when he was with her, the heat from his mouth transferred to her.
Oh. Nope.
And
nope.
And that is a absolutely true story. Absolutely true story.
Could have been worse, I suppose.
Well, it could have been like
Dealing
something
with
like
chili. I mean, that's a dangerous game right off the
or
bat.
she could have ate it and they could have tried something new and it could have been a disaster. But no, this isn't a gross story. He was being nice, and in asking for nothing of himself, and the heat from his mouth apparently transferred, and she got very, very scared that something. You're 20, 21. You don't know what's going on. She's like, "What's going on?" Like, you gave me gonorrhea or something. Like, not yet. Like, this just started.
Doesn't happen instantly.
Yeah, this isn't something that goes on right away. Like, believe me, I can tell you. No. All right, we'll be back. We have everything that happened last evening, your local 9, playing some news around the NFL. All of that coming right up.
back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
We are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. I am leaving for the airport directly after the show. My kids have to get here before the show is over with their bags. And then we are taking a Lyft from here because I can not use Uber because for some reason I am technically blocked from it. It's nothing I did. It's not behavior related. I know people assume I'm lying, but it's not. To my knowledge, it's not because I don't know why it would be. But for some reason this concept has exhausted me. Like I slept fine last night, but then I saw Andrew out in front because I took a Lyft here. Because I don't want to come get my car at 8 o'clock on Monday night. So, like, the process has exhausted me. Like, just knowing what's happening today. Andrew, because, Ryan, you probably fly direct most places. Do you not? You go to Florida and stuff like that. Do you fly direct?
I try to.
Yes. Now, Andrew, you probably have to fly places where you have to connect, correct, or no?
Not often anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, now you can hear me complain. Because Knoxville is impossible to get to.
Oh, like if I go visit my dad, yeah, it's a connecting flight.
Well, there's some non-negotiables. Knoxville among them, Atlanta, Fort Lauderdale, Dallas. Those are different, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, I end up in Atlanta or Nashville. And then a way to get to Knoxville has to be figured out. Now you go, well, Nashville's in Tennessee, Fred. How far could it be? Oh, over 3 hours. So, no, that's not good. And Atlanta's like 2.5 hours, which is a little bit better. But so I'll be flying into LaGuardia, and I have an hour. And you would think an hour, well, that's plenty of time. Oh, no. No.
It's 20 minutes.
And then, yeah. And then the thing is that a lot of people go to Knoxville compared to the amount of flights to Knoxville. So if you miss your flight to Knoxville due to no fault of your own, right. Even me, who's Diamond Medallion, and has a line that someone answers at Delta, they can tell you straight up it's 2 days until you can get on another flight to Knoxville. Because there's 3 today leaving from LaGuardia. They're all full, and there's no getting on them, and there's nothing we can do.
Yeah. Well, I used to listen to your stories of you going to Knoxville. My parents lived in the sticks outside of Roanoke, Virginia for like 20 years. And it's exactly the same way. There's like 5 flights a day in and out of there. And if you're not, if one of them gets canceled, you're stuck.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that you can fly, and there's one flight that goes twice a week direct there from here, and it's on like one of those garbage airlines that like I don't even have patience for anymore. Like it looks like a GeoCities site where there's like pop-ups and you have to pay, and it's not the money, it's just the insulting of it. Like you have to pay to like you buy the ticket, but then you pay for your seat. Like there's like a bunch of weird crap about it like I don't like. And then I figure you're just screwed. And it's like at 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, like is and it's twice a week that it does it. So screw that. So you can fly direct from to Knoxville from Philadelphia, New York, Charlotte, Atlanta, Detroit. I mean, like these are not places that are far from here. I think Cleveland, like there's like all these places you can fly direct, but you can't do it from Boston. Right. And say there's, like LaGuardia, they probably have 4 or 5 flights today to Knoxville. But if I miss this flight, there's no way there's no way me and my 2 kids are getting on another flight to Knoxville
looking
today.
for 3 empty seats on a plane. Yeah.
Would you drive?
From New York to Knoxville?
Yeah.
No. I'd fly to Atlanta because I can definitely go to Atlanta from New York. I mean, there's on Delta, I could go there. There's probably 10 flights a day.
They're leaving every 20 minutes.
Exactly. So I can do that. And then, Hartsfield. Like the only problem with Hartsfield is then I have to rent a car because unless I have my parents pick me up. But on that short notice, I can't do that. Hardy gets on me because we had to fly into Nashville like a couple times ago. But I spent the night in Nashville. My parents picked me up in the morning and took us because they insisted on it. But I figured that like giving them, 15 hours notice to pick me up was enough. But I wouldn't land in Nashville and go, oh, can you like go drive like 6 hours? And I think I drove back from Nashville, but I don't know. I find it like a very low-key stress. I just know, and I like going through Detroit and Atlanta because if worse comes to worse,
they're Delta hubs.
They're Delta hubs, and also I know my lay of the land. Like I can get to where I need to go. I don't need to screw around. Of course, I asked them if they could pack carry-ons because it's the summer, and they all have clothes in Tennessee. Like they have stuff in Tennessee, but of course, my daughter needs to bring perfume, and that can't be checked. You can't bring that into a carry-on. And I was wondering why you have to bring perfume, considering we're going nowhere above Chili's. I don't understand why you would have to bring perfume. But nonetheless, was the argument worth having? No. So we will be checking a bag, and that's fun. Her bag. None of us are bringing golf clubs. None of us are bringing anything. I have a carry-on bag, but my son has a carry-on bag, but she needs to bring. And hers is probably a carry-on bag. I just have to check it because it's got, a $100 bottle of perfume in it that I got to worry about. Why she's wearing it again, no idea. All right, very good.
But
so
yeah,
if you're wondering,
my wife and I are taking a trip coming up next week, and I paid extra to not have a connection. It was like one of those, like, you could, we have all these connecting flights, whatever. And like, no, just give me a straight flight. Because it's just one less thing that can go wrong.
Right, because I'll give you an example. I told Adam and Hardy and John, I'm like, look, I'm taking my son to the Jets-Cincinnati game in Cincinnati in late October. And I'm like, chances are I'm going to miss the Monday show. And Hardy was like, are you sure you want to miss the Monday show? And then John and I explained to him why that would be the best show to miss. I wasn't going to, I'm saying it because I'm not doing it, because I was going to be like, just take a sick day. But because I was not going to take, I was not going to, first of all, I'm not leaving a football game at 4, and Andrew, and you probably know about this too, Ryan. You get a 6 o'clock flight after a 4 o'clock football game in a city you're not familiar with. That's like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So, and also I don't want to, he has school the next day and I have to get up in the morning. Like, I don't want to, what's the point if I'd rather just take the sick day and spend the night in Cincinnati than fly to, somewhere else, fly to Chicago and then get stuck there at midnight and then have to screw around with that. But I did end up finding a direct flight at 8 o'clock back to Boston. And the thing is, like you, Ryan, yeah, it was like, $150 a ticket more expensive. But, I mean, what am I going to do? Fly into O'Hare? And then, if there's anything's delayed in O'Hare at 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, they're not. That's never leaving.
No.
So then you got to get and by the way, have you ever priced a hotel at O'Hare? Because I was supposed to do that last month, but we ended up canceling it. It's like $350 to stay at the hotel at O'Hare.
I just sleep at the gate. I've done that probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And not even just like, oh, I'm in college. What do I care? I'll sleep on the floor. Did this 2 years ago, coming back from a wedding in San Francisco. And it was me and my wife, and they were like, oh, we're just delayed. Then it's too late. And they're like, all right, we'll give you, partial refund, or we'll just book you in the morning. I go, I want the full refund, and I'm going to take this money and go to a different airline who will definitely get me out in the morning. Because they just drag this on and on and on in the way that it's like, we'll be out 5-10 minutes, and it's never going to happen. But that's the other part, is if there's any more travel, the Uber, the Lyft is late, or something happens at the hotel, valet's not ready, whatever it might be, I don't want any involvement there. Keep it simple.
I agree. And that's the thing. And so it's very exciting for everyone. I will be here the Monday after that October Sunday, which really would have put us behind the 8 ball if I wasn't. Because in fairness, the day after the Patriots are playing, it's unnecessary. There's a lot of what I'm bringing to the table that people desperately need, especially since I won't even have seen the game. So that would be like great for everyone. because I won't have. If I take it, they're playing at 1 o'clock too, so there's no way I'm seeing that game.
I mean, you go through around the NFL, you could have given 30 seconds worth of valuable insight on the Bengals game from the day before.
It's 30 seconds. It's a Jet game. We do at least 5 minutes on the Jet games.
I'd love a travel log on that. We did Cincinnati last year for the opener.
What a great city.
I had a better time than I expected.
Cincinnati is, well, there's a reason we're going to Cincinnati. We're going to Cincinnati because you can stay downtown and you can walk to the game and everything's contained. Now, Cincinnati, if you want to go have fun with your friends, is not easy because you have to go to northern Kentucky to do anything mischievous. Cincinnati, I mean, ask Larry Flint. Very difficult to. Cincinnati's a very
okay, right on that.
Very, very.
12. Can we get Larry on the phone? Ask him.
Well, I can put Larry on the phone right now.
Say, you got Larry sitting across.
You got Larry sitting right across from me right now. My famous Larry Flint impression. You don't know this. You never saw The People versus Larry Flint.
No,
you're not really. Neither
really,
of you.
Really.
I've seen it.
Yeah. You're aware. You're unaware of the story. You're in journalism. You're unaware. It's not even about the pornographic part. His First Amendment battles and stuff. You're unaware of like what happened with him.
Yeah.
You are unaware, or you are aware.
Unaware.
Really.
Really.
Well, he spent a lot of time in jail for obscenity charges based on First Amendment fights that in court got to higher courts, which ended up really improving First Amendment rights.
Major Supreme Court case.
Was
this the I know it when I see it?
No, I think that was before that.
Okay.
But the
all the porn cases that get to the Supreme Court, that's the one I'd say I'm more familiar with.
But he wore a diaper into court one day because you're treating me like a baby. And then he spent a lot of time in jail. He got shot in Atlanta by a religious psycho because they shot him in the back, paralyzed him. Oh, Andrew. Does this make you feel a little bit less about Andrew? That
he doesn't know enough about his pornography.
It's not about pornography,
and the
though.
people who create it.
Or the people that give him the freedom to write what he writes today. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I mean, every MAGA guy that comes in here, they don't even know what laid the groundwork for their precious little...
Okay, now.
All right.
We're not throwing me in there.
All
Covington, though, a good time. That's where Doug and I stayed there last year.
Where?
Across the river in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Covington's the town.
Oh, yeah. Kentucky.
Huge fast food. Everything you could want. It's like literally across the bridge right there.
It's a getaway day for me. You want to hear a Kentucky story real quick, and then we'll break, and then we'll come back and do what happened last night. Okay. So a friend of mine, no one knows who he is. He doesn't live around here. He didn't live in Detroit. He didn't live in Florida. Him and I go to a Jets game in Cincinnati. We go blind into northern Kentucky, and we go to a strip club. And I'm at the strip club.
Larry Flint.
No, not the Hustler Club. That no longer exists. I'm in. There are Hustler stores, but I'm in Northern Kentucky at a strip club. I'm in my 20s, and a lot of time goes by. My friend has left and not come back. Enough time where maybe 45 minutes where I finally walk out and start looking around, and the bouncer says, "Are you looking for your friend?" And I go, yeah. I go, what's up? He goes, he was asking everyone if they had Coke, and someone got mad, and he's hiding in the bushes over there. So I went and got my friend out of the bushes. And then we couldn't get a cab out of there, so we walked like a mile to a bar. And something with the Red Sox happened. There was some big seminal playoff moment with the Red Sox at that point. I always think it's a J.D. Drew thing, but I think I might be wrong. And there was like some iffy time if we were going to get out of northern Kentucky. Needless to say, my friend never got his cocaine. But then when we got back to Cincinnati, these large women that would not be normally women that we would be communicating with came up to us on the street, and they were very friendly. This is all in one night, and my friend's like, you should come up to our room. And they come up to the room, and they're very large, and they turn out they're like, we're prostitutes, and I'm like, well, okay, no. And I walked downstairs, and the other prostitute that was sitting there with me was like, all right, that's cool. She was actually really nice, and she's like, yeah, I get it, like because I'm like, I don't want to be like with you anyway. like, let alone pay you.
I didn't want it for free.
No, I really didn't.
How much I don't want this.
Yeah.
You.
Like I swear to God, I'm not trying to make myself look better. Like I tell you if I did it, like I really just was like, I was like kind of like taking it for the team and like sitting there, like we, it wasn't a nice room. We were like sitting on like queen beds, like, and when I left again, I thought my friend was going to follow me downstairs. And, he's married and everything. And so, no, I mean, he might not have been married at the time. But, and I go downstairs and the girl's like, I'll see you later. And I'm like, all right, bye. And I sat in the lobby and he didn't come down for a half an hour. And, yep, sure enough, he banged that big girl. Big girl. Big girl. I'm like 250 plus. He paid her. Gave her money. He never got his cocaine, though. Maybe that's why he was able to do that. Anyway, I'm sure...
Night could have ended a whole lot differently if he just found the coke.
Yeah, I mean, it would have gone a lot longer.
So he was still in the bushes the whole time?
Wait, what? Oh, I get it. I understand. I'm not saying it was a good joke. I'm just saying I understand. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. I swear we will get to sports. Ryan, what happened last evening?
Well, that was the voice, Fred, of one Richard Fitz. Red Sox were playing in Baltimore last night, first of a 4-game series. And it was a bullpen game with Walker Buehler taken out of the rotation. They had Brennan Bernardino start, pitched the first inning, and then went to Fitz, who pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 hits, struck out 6. But, as you just heard, wasn't feeling great at the end of that. Came out, team says tightness in his biceps. He's going to be reevaluated today. He said it doesn't seem like it should be too bad. He's not overly concerned, but we'll find out more, I would imagine, when Alex Cora speaks before tonight's game. But beyond that, not a bad night at the plate. Started early.
You were the youngest Red Sox ever.
That's not it.
No, that sounded like an interview.
You were the youngest Red Sox.
Yeah, that's still not it. So that was supposed to be Roman Anthony going yard to open up the game. Made it 1-0.
Roman Anthony yard. Touch them all. There, I did it for you. There you have it.
Swinging a high fly ball center field, backing up Cowser, backing up to the wall, leaping, and that ball is gone.
If Hauser was only a little older and didn't get his doctorate at 15, maybe he catches that thing.
On top with another home run.
Neil Patrick Harris, a lot of people thought the career was over.
That was the game winner by Jarren Duran. 3-run home run in the 5th inning. Sox win 4-3.
There you go. They can beat Baltimore. It was up in the air there last week, but they can indeed beat Baltimore. Indeed. And they can win a bullpen game. It's interesting. I heard Maz talking about this yesterday, and someone had called in and they're like, wow, the Red Sox schedule is very difficult at the end. But I would argue that it's not difficult at all at the end because they're playing teams that might very well have nothing to play for. Like they finish with Detroit and Toronto. And I got to figure that. See, the thing is this. Would you run your, like if you're Detroit or Toronto, would you run your number one starter? Like if you're Detroit, would you pitch Tarek Skubal, just to get home field in the playoffs? Like to get the number one seed?
Yeah, probably not. And like unless you're setting up their days to be on ready for game one of the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm just
beyond that. No.
Yeah, because I don't even know if I'm doing that. Like I think that I just might be like, let's give the guy a little rest. Like let's not push our luck and have him like really fresh for game one. And maybe if he takes that week off, we could even pitch him more. Like, you might roll him out there for, throw like 3 innings. Sure,
and then,
I understand what you're saying.
Like what would be a side day kind of work.
What's interesting, though, is because they get the Jays and Tigers back-to-back, those are the two teams fighting for that spot. So what the Tigers do might depend on how well the Red Sox beat or if they even beat the Blue Jays in the first place. Because the Blue Jays are a half game behind Detroit if you look at the AL as just an entire standings. You're looking for that top seed.
Right, and Detroit has not been great since they've had peaks and valleys since the All-Star break. But yes, I'm not positive how much because look, Detroit and Toronto are going to be the top two in the unless something goes terribly wrong for either of those teams. They're going to be the top 2 teams in the AL. So I just don't know how much you're playing. Like Toronto, yes. Toronto, I don't know how much that affects anything because Toronto might – because there's still, 6 games left. The first game of that series, there's still 6 games left in the season. Then you might be setting up your rotation at that point. My point was more like Detroit. Like I'm not pitching. Like you said, Ryan. Maybe I'll pitch Skubal like. Just get him ready to keep him in.
Yeah, he's not going out to throw 100 pitches that day.
I'm not. He's go out and throw 40 pitches. Like I'm not having him do much of anything. So because I again, if I can, limit him to 30 or 40 pitches, hopefully we're making a. If I'm the Tigers, we're making a run in the playoffs, and I might have to double him up one time. I might have to put him in a situation where he comes in late in a game or something like that, Jack Morris style. Don't worry about it, Randy Johnson style. John was fighting me if Skubal is the best pitcher in the American League, if he's the Cy Young winner. He was saying Garrett Crochet. And I said that is Crochet's been great, but he's not been Skubal. In fact, Crochet's not the best pitcher on the Red Sox. The best pitcher on the Red Sox, of course, is Aroldis Chapman, who's unhittable right now.
1 earned run since May 28th. Shout out Mike Hurley for that stat. Right now, though, I'll say the Cy Young race is close. Skubal is minus 120 over at ESPN. Crochet's plus 105, and I think he's going to have the counting stats on him because, he already cleared 200 Ks.
Yeah, I just don't think that the way the team Skubal's on and the way that Skubal has pitched. Just the other night, he won a 1-0 game. I think he threw a complete game, 1-0 shutout. Like I just don't. He's just been better. He hasn't slipped. Crochet's had some games where he slipped. To my knowledge, Skubal hasn't had many of those. But there you go. Now your Red Sox are they continue their winning ways, and here they are. They are now with the number 1 wild card. They are a game ahead of the Yankees, who are a half game ahead of Seattle, and everyone else is falling off the face of the earth. So it really looks like that's going to be what it is, unless someone again falls apart. Texas has been terrible since the trade deadline. Cleveland got hot. Now they're awful. And Kansas City is what Kansas City is. They were hot there for a while, too. But everything has come back to earth. So, and the Yankees are terrible. If I'm the Red Sox, I don't care if I play the Yankees. I don't care where I'm in the wild card. If I play the Yankees, I don't care if I'm home or away. I know they struggle on the road, but I don't care where I play them. The Yankees are terrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. One of the worst fielding teams I've ever seen. Volpe's got the yips. So we'll see how that all turns out. All right, when we come back, you gentlemen are purveyors of terrible music, are you not?
Oh, constantly.
Yes, I can tell. Well, we have 3 examples coming up for you that all have happened. And I already know what I think because I've seen them all. But I would like you to tell me, rank them from best to worst. Best meaning the honest opinion of best, meaning the Webster definition of best, to the worst, which is Webster definition of worst. This isn't a Michael Jackson situation.
So non-ironically,
Yes, I want you to grade them non-ironically, because I'm curious to what you will think, because I have my own opinions. I have very strong opinions on this. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Energy drinks.
Red Sox got home runs from Roman Anthony and Jaron Duran to beat the Orioles last night 4-3 in Baltimore. Pitcher Richard Fitz left the game after 4 innings with tightness in his biceps. He'll be reevaluated today. Game 2 of that series tonight. Lucas Giolito will get the start. He's been on medical leave from the team since June. Yesterday, Angels manager Ron Washington met with his team, confirmed he's been recovering from quadruple bypass surgery. 73-year-old Washington says he hopes to return to the dugout next season. Patriots and the rest of the NFL have until 4 o'clock today to cut their rosters down to 53 players. Among those already cut around the league, former quarterback Bailey Zappi, released by the Chiefs yesterday. Former Patriots quarterback, that is. He's still a quarterback. 2 NFL players ending their hold-ins yesterday. Terry McLaurin gets a 3-year extension from the Commanders worth up to $96 million. The Bengals give Trey Hendrickson an additional $14 million this season. He'll make $30 million total and be an unrestricted free agent at year's end. Former Pats receiver Jacoby Myers telling the Raiders he wants to be traded after he and the team failed to reach agreement on a new contract. Raiders yesterday also signed free agent receiver Amari Cooper to a 1-year deal and traded for cornerback Kenny Pickett from Cleveland to back up Geno Smith. Headlines brought to you by the McGovern Automotive Group. McGovern and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. For more info on how to enter, follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Complete rules and details at 985thesportshub.com. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines around 30 minutes.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
And now, back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Docking that they were signed is something else, but that's for an argument for another time. We are Toucher and Hardy. Ryan Johnson and Andrew Callahan are in here, and you could watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And here is the deal. 3 classic rock and roll singers. I will not classify them as metal by any means, but 3 guys, and it's sad because one of these bands is now considered classic rock. Now, they are older. All of them are older than us, so you can feel good about that. But I want you to rank these in terms of how bad they are being, and I want you to be honest about it. I don't want you to try to play into anything. I want this to be an honest exercise. All right. You're aware of Vince Neil from Motley Crue, correct?
Sure.
Yep.
He is, you know what? I'm going to start with Adam Duritz. All right. Adam Duritz from Counting Crows. Right? You remember him? He was never good looking, but he was with Jennifer Aniston and with Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Well, just his relationship with the Viper Room.
And Winona Ryder, too, I believe.
Winona Ryder, between her and Jennifer Aniston, who I would most like to sleep with out of the 3 of those, no question. But they were all very attractive and more than that, very famous. And could have had anyone they wanted to. In fact, Jennifer Aniston went from Duritz to Pitt, which is quite a leap.
Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Mary Louise Parker, Emmy Rossum from Shameless.
Oof. How old's Emmy Rossum?
A lot younger than Adam Duritz.
Yeah, what did you get her when she was 16? Someone needs to do an investigation.
She's 38 right now. He is 61.
Is he with her now?
No, this was 2009.
Okay.
They broke up in 2010.
So how old was she then? I can't do the math in my head.
So what's that, 15 years ago?
It's 45 and 22.
She was 23, 22.
And he was 45?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, so here's the deal.
It's not a Belichick situation.
No, Belichick's gross. I could see like a 45-year-old who's famous and like a good musician. He sits behind a piano and seduces you. I could see it the opposite way. See, when I was 22, Jesus, one of the greatest times I ever had was an older woman when I was 20. I couldn't believe she was interested in me. She had a Mercedes. It was like the greatest thing ever.
Is this at Michigan State on a sink?
No, this was in Atlanta. All right, so here is the deal. Here is Adam Duritz. He's playing with the Counting Crows. Now, it's not his fault that the band looks terrible. The band is old. And I don't know if it's the original Counting Crows or who would know. It's not like the Maroon 5 where everyone's like they got their own personality.
Yeah, name another person in Counting Crows.
I could barely tell you Adam Duritz. If he didn't bang all those chicks, I wouldn't even know who he was, and I swear to God. Now, Long December I don't think is a bad song at all. People make fun of me, but I don't think that's a bad song.
I always enjoyed Counting Crows. I like Adam Duritz's voice.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Jones is a terrible song. But I mean, that's an annoying song.
That was too commercial.
Yeah, as opposed to the the experimental stuff. But this is the Counting Crows. I'm not going to lead you down any lines. Now, it's not his fault that he's overweight, and I'm being serious. It's not his fault he's overweight, and the band looks really old. But that you can't even see it. So listen to this.
Yes.
All right, so you've heard that. All right. Now, by the way, all these have been said. They've been put on the internet and gone viral for being terrible.
All right. That sounded like a bad karaoke version of.
Okay.
It looks like it too. He was reading the lyrics off a prompter.
Well, he was reading the lyrics off a music stand. As a matter of fact, he was. You knew that, didn't you?
Yes.
So you're giving a visual. Unfair. You're leading the witnesses.
All right, I will
You're leading the jury.
I will no longer lead the jury.
How many times do you think Adam Duritz has performed Mr. Jones?
That's what I'm saying.
He needs to have the lyrics in front of him.
I think it's an affectation. I think that he has, because if it was a teleprompter, I'd get it. He had a music stand which he folds the pages over.
He wants to look. Okay.
Yes.
That's
I'm saying
That's interesting. Oh, we never played the intro. Fred.
Oh.
The worst old singer can hit the notes. Worst old singer. They have one job. Worst old singer can hit the notes. Worst old singer. They could die tonight.
Thank you, Nicholas. You may continue, Fred.
See, Adam Duritz sounds great there.
Yeah. For some reason, Jukebox Hero came into my head when I heard about these guys.
By the way, we're just rating the voice, right? This is not the whole. Okay, good. Because this is
100%.
That also was someone who had, to Adam's point, sung the same song 10,000 times ago. How can I make this different just to keep myself entertained?
Yeah, Adam well. Also, he can't sing. Just to give you a little bit of insight, because I'll play it again when you guys give your opinions. But he can't do Mr. Jones, so he has the crowd do it. He obviously can't hit those high notes anymore, but he's not alone in that. All right, so here is Diamond David Lee Roth. Now, David Lee Roth is very thin, and this is not to sway the jury either. But when I saw them, I was a huge, huge Van Halen fan. In fact, I turned my back on them as soon as Sammy Hagar joined the group. And we all went out.
But you came back when Sharon got hired.
Yeah, Van Halen 3 is a triumph. So and when Wolfie was in the band, I was like, all right, here we go. But I went to see them, David Lee Roth. I went in 1984. The tickets sold out right away before I could go. I was 9 years old. I never got to go see him with David Lee Roth. They get on stage. They play Unchained, which is my favorite Van Halen song. David Lee Roth doesn't sing. And I leave during Unchained. I leave during the first song of the set. I'm like, I don't want to ruin my innocence. But this is not, obviously, with Van Halen, because Eddie Van Halen is dead. This is David Lee Roth performing in Vegas, wherever the hell he goes now. And here is David Lee Roth. You guys know what song this is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what?
What's it called?
It's on Van Halen 2. Hello.
Keep it going.
Do you guys know what the song is?
It's Dance the Night Away.
Yeah, you got it. The chorus is going to do you no good because there's backing vocals. And finally...
Yeah, that did sound like he was pretty reliant on the backup band.
Yeah. All right, and now we get to Vince Neil. Now, this is not Motley Crue. This is Vince Neil. Now, Vince Neil, who I saw as a solo artist one time. I saw a video of Motley Crue recently where a guy got on stage and Nikki Sixx, punk rocker that he is, got so nervous he took his bass off, stopped singing, and took his bass and wielded it like an axe because, there's a guy on stage. Woo! And nothing in the song changed. The bass was still playing. The background vocals were still going on. His bass is literally not plugged in. And you can go around. It's true. It's a fact. Nikki Sixx's bass for Motley Crue. Like, this isn't, Geddy Lee. This isn't John Entwistle. This is not someone rolling up and down the neck of a bass. This is someone keeping a very rudimentary beat on the bass.
Staying in the same cul-de-sac, driving around.
Yeah. Like, he can't, I could hand you a bass, and I'm quite confident if you spent 3 hours a day for 3 days, you could come back and give me 5 Motley Crue songs pretty perfectly. But nonetheless, he can't be bothered even playing bass or singing on stage, so he's just standing there. But this is Vince Neil solo, and I won't tell you how he looks because it's not good, but here is him singing. There's a lot of instrumentation there. All right. Now here's the time. Vince Neil, David Lee Roth, Adam Duritz, your thoughts, and then I will give you I will be the tiebreaker because I know. Go ahead.
Andrew?
Vince Neil, I think, blew the other two out of the water on a scale that, let's be fair, is not very big. I gave that a 6 out of 10. Everyone got a number out of 10 for me. The worst was Diamond David Lee Roth because he sounded, as RJ described, Adam Duritz, the guy at karaoke. But it's the guy at karaoke who's got the irrational confidence and lack of self-awareness that I still got it. David Lee Roth is like, man, I'm 20 years younger. I'm hitting all the notes, and he is missing everything. This is like 8 beers in karaoke. Adam Duritz, at least to your point, and so David Lee Roth, I gave it 2 out of 10. Adam Duritz gave it a 3.5 because at least the awareness there, as bad as it sounded, which is like, I'm not hitting the high notes. You got this. Hey, first couple of rows, this is on you. So 3.5 for Adam Duritz, a 2 for David Lee Roth, and a 6 for Vince Neil for me.
I agree that Vince Neil was the best of the bunch. I go David Lee Roth second and Duritz third.
Wow.
I feel like I like the confidence in David Lee Roth. I like the fact that he's going, you know what? Yeah, this is me. I am hitting every note. He's putting on a show. Duritz felt like he almost couldn't be bothered, so I'm going him last.
Okay, I have to give you guys a tremendous amount of credit because what's going around is how bad Vince Neil is because he can't move.
Vince Neil sounds a hell of a lot better than I've heard
I'm giving
him in
you
the
credit,
past.
and thank you. Vince Neil, that's the best he sounded for 20 years. He can't move, but I mean, you could play.
Has he dropped like 30 pounds?
No, he looks terrible. He looks like he's gonna die. And so it's like all the Vince Neil stuff I thought was funny. This to me seems kind of mean because he sounds better than he sounded 25 years. Like he doesn't seem effed up. Like he doesn't seem like he's wasted.
He remembers the words.
Well, yeah, whatever he's doing, he's got the words down. During the chorus, you know, there's backing vocals and there's probably also like computer generated vocals, but he's like actually singing into the microphone. When I saw him probably 25 years ago, because I had a friend at the time's band opening, he came out in like a Tommy Bahama shirt with a bucket of beer, put it on his stool, and basically didn't sing. The idea that he got through that is something else. Now, for Adam Duritz, you guys would know better than me because to me, it's just like whatever. Like, I think you guys would know more than me because I think that he just looks fat and like the band's all old, but he might have been a much better singer live for a long time. I just wouldn't know. So I'm taking your word on that. David Lee Roth should not be performing.
No.
David Lee Roth should not be performing anymore.
No, you need the Tupac like hologram in his place. That's how bad that was. And I'm glad you brought up like how Vince Neil looked because I had no idea why you were doing that for Adam Duritz and David Lee Roth. And I'll echo RJ. Like I haven't listened to a whole lot of Motley Crue in my life, but I would have just assumed that's a live concert 20 years ago.
Yes.
That sounds the same edition of Girls, Girls, Girls I've ever heard.
Yeah, because when they were supposed to come to Fenway originally, like I was going to go, but only if Vince sang because Vince killed a guy in a drunk driving accident and didn't stop drinking. I mean, Vince is like a deplorable like drug abuser, like a man that's really without, and not like, and I have a ton of sympathy for it, but not with Vince. Vince is just like he refuses and he's living, and I don't understand what's going on. But the lack of effort that I've seen him do on several occasions, that he looks terrible. He can barely move. But again, he's singing. And like for him, that's like Pavarotti. I mean, he sounds like Pavarotti as terms of Vince Neil goes. But David Lee Roth. Like, I don't get, like, the fluctuations even that he's doing. But he looks the best, ironically. But to me, he sounds the worst.
And there's no way he knows it. Or no one's telling him.
Oh, I think that he knows it when he gets into a club. And he's playing a club. Like, he was playing, stadiums and getting $1 million to play the US Festival.
Did he play like a Hampton Beach casino like 2 weeks ago?
Probably.
But the confidence is still there in a way that you're like, you could kind of work around your deficiencies, right? If you're Adam Duritz, who at least had some self-awareness. That matters to me. Because if you're going to go loud and proud, you better be delivering on those notes. And I didn't hear it.
The thing about Duritz is, though, that he does insist on having that songbook in front of him on a music stand, which he flips the pages of, which is completely unnecessary. I mean, we've all seen bands, they have a teleprompter. Jesus, Ozzy had 20 years ago, Ozzy had a movie screen, and I'm not making that up. Might as well have had skywriting. He had a movie screen in front of him with the lyrics. They all have stage monitors with teleprompters on them, like a ton of bands do, when they're going deep into catalogs and stuff. But a songbook that you turn the pages of. I'm surprised you didn't get that vibe, Adam. Now you do, don't you? Now
no, I do.
Yeah,
I get it now.
He's excuse me, audience, while I turn the page.
Let me go deeper into the Counting Crows.
Right. Because these lyrics all tell a story, and each phrasing is very important. It's not just the lyrics; it's the notes.
Allow me to share some notes that I've put on in the margins in between songs.
Right. Mr. Jones was a character, and let me tell you his story through song. But I'm proud of you guys because a lot of people would have said Vince Neil. No. But I am proud of both of you.
That man delivered.
Vince sounded all right for Vince, but he looks like he's going to die. Like, if you would have told me he died after the show, I would have been
He wasn't supposed to be performing. His doctor was like, don't perform.
No.
He was like, I'm not going to do anything anyone tells me to do. I'm Vince Neil.
And then, but how much money do you think he made? He's got to have peed through all his money.
Probably, or else he wouldn't be doing this.
But they play Fenway. I don't get. They headline Fenway. I don't get how they don't have any money. John Five's in the band now. He probably gets a snack for every show. Like, they're not paying him Mick Mars money. They screwed Mick Mars out of everything. I know he doesn't get a lot of publishing, but okay. Oh, you want a break? I had so much to say. All right, Gary Myers is coming up. He's got a book about Belichick and Brady. Plus, of course, he still covers sports, and we have our own resident expert in here, Mr. Andrew Callahan, who is his own self a student of the Belichick-Brady relationship. We will have him on in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy next.
Sports Hub.
I wouldn't say pressure. I think he knows, he knows the plays, and I always try to tell the guys, hey, if you've seen something, hey, give me something on the sideline or something like that. But I'm going to try to throw the guys that open. If he's open a lot, then he'll get the ball.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, Ryan Johnston, and Andrew Callahan, who writes about sports, but mainly the Patriots for the Boston Herald, is in here. I'm saying that because one of your peers is here. I'm joining us on the phone. As someone who's had much more success than you, Andrew, but nonetheless, you can appreciate him.
Just try to hang.
Well, this is someone who you can look as a bar. The bar has been raised.
I've read Gary for a long time.
We all have. Gary Miders, of course, you know him from the New York Daily News. He's got a book. He's been on talking about before, Brady versus Belichick, the Dynasty Debate. It is out on September 16th. You can pre-order it now. I hold a copy in my hand if you're watching on YouTube. Andrew Callahan has a copy in his hand if you're watching on YouTube. The book comes out soon. Gary, hello, sir. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We are doing well. Excitement over the pre-order of the book. Things I would imagine are selling briskly right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is always an exciting time when it's a couple weeks before the book comes out, and I start doing shows like yours, and people start talking about the book. It was really a lot of fun for me to do. I had success 10 years ago with my Brady versus Manning book. This isn't quite a sequel, but it's a rivalry nonetheless, as people in Boston know.
Well, especially now, it's funny, and Andrew, you kind of fact check me and kind of like add anything you want when I ask these questions, because I don't want you just sitting there silently fuming that I'm wrong. But the another reporter, Ben Volen, that went down to North Carolina, and he talked to Belichick. It didn't seem like they talked for a long time. And Belichick was like, North Carolina is a lot better. I don't have the owner or the owner's son. Like, these are shots at Jonathan and Robert Kraft, obviously.
So far, so good, Fred.
Yeah, and then he's like, and it's great because there's not all these voices in my ear. But, Gary, my understanding to everyone around the Patriots or anyone that writes about the NFL is that part of the falling of Belichick and the failing of Belichick is that as the NFL evolved, he didn't evolve with it, in that the Patriots, it's ironic that he says his staff was too big with the Patriots when it was considerably smaller and missing entire departments that other teams had. Is that something that you've been hearing?
Well, yeah, I think that, Bill stuck to his ways for 20 years. And, early on, it worked with Robert Kraft, who clearly was, so appreciative that Belichick had, won 3 championships, early on in New England and increased the value of his team tremendously. But I think what happened there was, as the Patriots started winning, Bill became, I don't want to say he froze Kraft out, but I think his attitude towards Kraft went from being grateful to having that job to leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. And, in one of the interviews I did for the book, I asked Jimmy Garoppolo, who deserves the most credit, Belichick or Brady? And he said Kraft, because he put out a lot of fires. And I think that was going on. And I think, Bill did not evolve with the times. I think that's accurate. It's quite evident. And Andrew knows this. You look at the Belichick's drafts over the last 10 years of his stay in New England. And if he didn't have Brady, he probably would have been fired a lot earlier than he was.
So, Gary, I'm about to engage your favorite part of this interview, where I just read a quote from your book and ask you about this. This is 2020, and you interviewed Belichick about letting Tom Brady leave. And there's a sense here he didn't have any regrets. And here's what he said, quote, 2020 was an impossible situation in New England. Brady absolutely made the right decision. We could not put a good team around him. Financially, after stretching for 10 years, by the way, when they were lowest in cash spending, we ran out of cap space and had to rebuild the team. 2019 was our last real opportunity to win. 2020 was a rebuild, and we were back in the playoffs in 2021. How much of that is what Fred just described, which is revisionist history from Bill, because obviously Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl the year after he leaves New England. And how much of that, in your view, is a fair assessment?
What was the last part you said? How much of it is
how much of it is fair? What Bill just said.
Oh, okay. Fair assessment. Okay. So that's a very recent quote that I got from Belichick. And I was a little taken aback by that he was admitting that it was going to be an impossible situation and Tom needed to move on. I think Bill made a tremendous mistake in letting Tom go. He underestimated how much he had left. And then everything fell apart in New England. I mean, they made that quick trip back to the playoffs, rather, with Mac Jones in his second year, and then got blown out by Buffalo, and then it just totally disintegrated. I think the reason he let Tom go, and the reason he's saying we didn't have the pieces around him, is because of Belichick's own failings in personnel. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, his drafts was so bad. I think a lot changed when Scott Pioli left. I know that the success continued over the second half of the dynasty, but I think some standards changed with when Pioli was gone, that Scott was one of the few guys that would stand up to Belichick in terms of not only the quality of player that he was bringing in, but the quality of person he was bringing in, exemplified by the whole Aaron Hernandez disaster. So I think it's fair to say that Bill did not evolve as things were changing around the NFL.
Okay, so his behavior since then, Bill Belichick's.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just personal stuff, just his behavior, what happened with the football team, his drafting, hearing him speak publicly more often, the public failings that came out as early as when he was a defensive coordinator with the Giants. I ask everyone in this, obviously, Belichick grew up with his dad coaching football. He loved watching film with his father. He knew the game very well. How impressed are you with him as a man? Like his intelligence? Like when you talk to people, your own opinion, other people's opinion, is this a guy that just was a football savant and then lacking in other areas, or am I misunderstanding him in that way?
That is a great question, Fred. I've known Belichick probably, and it just shows how old I am. I've known him since 1979 when he got to the Giants as an assistant coach. So I've known him forever. And I think if you asked anybody on the Giants during that period of time that he was the defensive coordinator, if they envisioned Bill as a head coach, they would have said no. And that was this whole falling out with George Young, who was general manager of the Giants at the time, that George didn't think that Bill had the presence to command a room and he had the personality to lead a team. Now, I think George was proven wrong on that because of the success in New England. But Belichick, I've gotten along with him recently, like the last 5 years or so. I sat next to him at a Hall of Fame meeting in Canton in 2020 for 8 hours. And we actually had a pleasant day. But up to that point, he hadn't really spoken to me in 15 years or so because I was really hard on him on the Spygate stuff when I wrote for the Daily News. I always resented the way he treated the media, and I would think that Andrew would agree with me on this. I just, we were just there trying to do a job, and I really felt like he treated us like the lowest form of human life, and I wrote that in the book. And I think I can say this on the air. I mean, he was a turd the way he treated us.
No, you can't say that. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. No, it's funny that you didn't think you could say
I've said much worse.
Oh, believe me.
Okay. It's Boston. It's like New York. It can probably say anything on the radio.
Pretty much.
I just think that he was unnecessarily cruel and condescending to the media, which I always looked at the media as the conduit to the fans. And if he's treating us like this, it's basically he's treating the fans like that because he's not giving the information that the fans want to know. As far as how he is as a man, I'm not going to judge him. I know there's been, with the 24-year-old girlfriend.
His quality as a man, but I want to ask you something about the way he treated the media, because the more I hear about people that were around it, from people in the building to the media, I'm wondering how much of this, and I swear to God, I think this is true, how much of that is that he isn't smart and he didn't know how to deal with you. And like he didn't. So his whole defense mechanism.
It was arrogance. It was arrogance. He prepared. He was smart enough. He just didn't care. Or didn't believe.
But to be able to share, I understand this arrogance, but a lot of time arrogance comes not from a place of confidence, if that makes any sense. It's like you're cloaking your inadequacies with arrogance in that, like you know a smart person when you hear them. They can talk, and it's part of life. It's part of being smart, communicating ideas. You know, you don't go to a salesman and they have a great product and they just go to you like the best salesman in the world and he's like, hey, dumbass, like buy it. Like, you know, they there's ways of talking and communicating. I just wonder if he's lacking. Like, I wonder if that arrogance was a cloak over some of his inadequacies. That's all.
Well, the way I would answer that one is I think as a football coach, anybody who says he's not a brilliant coach, you know, isn't paying attention or just strict.
Sure.
You know, just doesn't like
No, he's a great football coach. He's like a savant. Right.
Right. So what I was going to add to that, to call him a smart individual outside of football, I really haven't seen any indication of that I would say, oh, this is a brilliant person. Brilliant football coach, no doubt. Brilliant person, you tell me what he's shown to be like a really, really smart guy outside of football. And, you know, the way he treated me, I'll give you an example, both for my Once a Giant book, which came out a couple of years ago.
Great book, by the way.
And for this book, thank you. You know, I got in contact with Bill each time wanting to meet with him in person to interview him. And he was still with the Patriots when I did the Giant book. And I said, Bill, I'll come meet you at 2:00 in the morning at the end of your day. If that's when it ends, I'll come meet you at 6:00 in the morning. If that's the beginning of your day, I'll meet you anytime in between. I just need a half an hour. And he said to me, how's this? I'm much better if you email me the questions. I'll give you much better answers and I'll put much more time into it than if we sit in my office and you're sitting across from me. And I said, you know, I'd really like you to think about this because I always find, and, you know, I think anybody would agree with this, that I'd much rather do an interview, you know, face to face than on the phone or by email, certainly. And he said, I'm just telling you, if you want me to help you on this book, this is how I want to do it. And, you know, something was better than nothing. And I sent him 15 questions and he sent me back 5 pages of answers. I mean, it was great. It was in depth. It was very thoughtful. But, you know, to me, that told me a lot about him, that he was just more comfortable sitting in front of his computer than sitting in front of me. And I didn't necessarily take that personally. I just think that's how he was. And for this book, it was the same thing. Bill, I'll come down to Chapel Hill. I'll go up to Nantucket. You know, whatever you want to do. And he goes, let's do it like we did last time and send me an email and I'll answer him. And I think, you know, from the quote that Andrew read a few minutes ago, I mean, that was a pretty good answer. You might not agree with it, but I was a little taken aback by, you know, the level of despair that he was painting over what was going on with the Patriots roster at the time. And I think that said a lot about him. He's the only person I've interviewed for any of my books that just prefer to do it by email. A lot of them have said, hey, I can save you the trip. Let's do it by phone or by Zoom, you know, which oftentimes, you know, Zoom has changed the world, as you know, and oftentimes, you know, sitting in front of your computer but able to look at somebody is as good as...
Yeah, and you're having a conversation, which is, you know, to someone who interviews people, that's... I mean, you need that. I mean, you can ask follow-ups. You can,
Sure.
And if someone isn't comfortable with their intelligence, they maybe don't want to hear those follow-ups. They don't want to be put on the spot. They're afraid they're going to say something that makes them look bad or makes them look dumb because they don't have the confidence to have a conversation, which I would argue is part of being human and necessary.
Do you think that's Bill's issue, though? Confidence when it comes to conversation?
Yes.
Because I find him to be the most disciplined speaker I've ever come across.
Right, but I think that's part of what I'm saying is that it's he's disciplined by necessity. if that makes any sense to anyone.
Fred, I want to say this, that you found that the best answers that Bill ever gave at his press conferences was when you asked him about the history of the tight end or the long snapper, and he'd go on forever. But anything that would you consider really newsworthy, he would either be condescending or dismissive in his answer. And I agree with you, Fred. I think that I wouldn't say it's a lack of confidence. I just think it's a lack of being comfortable having to answer questions that either causes him to show a little bit of his human side or go in depth and reveal information that he doesn't want to. I think he's very protective of that. And I don't think he's savvy enough or well-spoken enough to give an answer that would satisfy people, even though in his mind he's not really giving away information, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes total sense. We're on the same page.
I think so.
I absolutely think so. Gary, good job, Adam, booking Gary. I love Gary Myers. The book is Brady versus Belichick, the Dynasty Debate. There's a lot more to get into. Unfortunately, we're constrained by time and commercials. But Gary, maybe we could have you on again soon.
Sure.
We appreciate it. Thanks as always for the time.
Hey,
Thanks,
Fred,
Gary.
I'll just say this, by the questions that you and Andrew asked, it's clear in Boston there's still much more of a fascination with Belichick than there is with Tom Brady, and understandably so.
Well, yeah, Brady is out there. Brady,
Right.
Is
born.
But he's out there speaking. I mean, there's no, he's forget it. There's not time. But believe me, Brady's Brady. Belichick is the way that he was just put on a pedestal around here, which I never thought was deserved, other than him being a great football coach. But this whole notion he was a genius, I think, is fascinating that now it's coming out. And I'm hearing from people like in the organization, like, this guy's not a genius. He's a football savant. And there's a difference. All right, Gary Myers' book, Brady versus Belichick, comes out September 16th. Look forward to talking to you again. Best of luck, Gary.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, appreciate it. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox with a 4-3 win last night in Baltimore to kick off a 4-game series. That continues tonight. Lucas Giolito will get the start. Richard Fitz left the game with tightness in his biceps last night. He's going to be reevaluated today. Cutdown day in the NFL, 4 p.m. the deadline to get down to 53 players. Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin has agreed to a new 3-year extension worth up to $96 million. The Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have agreed to a restructured deal that pays him $30 million this season, and he still gets to be an unrestricted free agent at year's end. Raiders receiver Jacoby Myers reportedly wants to be traded after failing to find agreement on a new contract. Raiders say they do not plan on trading Myers. They also agreed to a 1-year deal with free agent receiver Amari Cooper and traded for quarterback Kenny Pickett from Cleveland to back up Geno Smith. And Texans running back Joe Mixon going to miss at least the first 4 games of the season with an ankle injury. Headlines brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Dave Portnoy, and Brian Scalabrine. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for a free consultation. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines around 8.
You're listening.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
Golf. Hardy's moving his daughter into college, so this is a very emotional week for him. He played at some tournament. He's playing with himself over yesterday with golf. He's he's having the time of his life. But John just sits. John took the week to sit. And one of the things he did is, Ryan, he went and played golf with you yesterday. He was very proud about that. And
every time I've been in here this year, when he's been here, he's like, "Oh, we should play golf. We should play golf."
Yeah,
so he said, "Okay, let's. You got the week off. I'll set us up a tee time."
Yeah, he is very excited that you play. And John's fine at golf. He's probably better than I am. Which is not saying much, but he's fine. But when you went out. I'm very angry at you because you did not get your camera out in time. But
I almost missed. Like, I didn't get a video. It could have been an all-timer.
Because I was going to put it up on Instagram, and I was like, this is going to go viral. All right, what happened when you played with Jonathan?
So we had a nice round of golf, not too much to speak of, but there was one shot on the back nine where, while it didn't get it off the tee very well, his ball goes through this bunker and settles in the grass just above the sand on this pretty steep incline. And so John walks, he gets up there and he's kind of laughing at, his predicament. And he's standing at like a 45-degree angle. So like his left foot is way above the ball and his right foot is way below the ball. And he takes a mighty swing at this. And Fred, he was about a millimeter away from whiffing it entirely. He barely clips the top of the ball, which then just rolls backward down into the sand, as does John. He completely loses his balance, ends up going backward into the bunker, and somehow stays on his feet.
Well, it's his feathers.
Right.
He's able to stabilize, even though they've been clipped.
So
his bones are hollow too.
That's a great point. Yeah,
carrying him down.
Yeah. He's very light on his feet.
So we're both, like laughing hysterically at the fact that he barely made contact with the ball and almost knocked himself on his own ass in the process. And so I didn't, things like that happen. So he goes down and he picks the ball up out of the sand, which I don't know. We're not playing for money or anything like that. I said, John, just, toss it up onto solid ground and take your next shot. He goes, no. I'm going to hit this shot.
Which is fascinating to me because that's not even the rules.
Right. And then because he did make contact with the ball. So go back. Yeah. He should now hit it out of the sand. If
exactly.
Anywhere,
right. So it's not like, but he's like, no. We're going to do this.
He goes and he puts it back in that same precarious spot and gets back into the same stance. And I'm trying to grab for my phone. Unfortunately, it's sitting in the cart. It's not in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get to it in time before he takes his second hack at it. Now, this time he makes contact with the ball, but again, he goes tumbling back into the sand and almost ends up on his ass again. And I breathed a sigh of relief at that point because I thought if I didn't get that on video and he actually did fall and end up rolling around in the sand, I would have never forgiven myself.
Now, I'm surprised he didn't get further off the tee because he has that incredibly long and fluid backswing of his that he pulls the club up to about mid-back and then just goes.
Is it a Barkley swing?
Yeah, it's like a not as elegant Arnold Palmer situation. It's a very much a not even shoulder height. It's like a mid-back height and then a yick. There's no power behind that thing, but there you go, Johnny. Yes, very fortunate that he is. I'm glad you brought up the hollow bones because even if he fell, he would have been safe. So you would have had a good video there.
It does slow you down though when the birds stop and want to chat with him along the way.
Well, they're presenting everywhere. I mean, everywhere you go, they're sticking out their fannies. They want him to enter them, and then, John's got to keep it cordial. He can't unzip his pants or anything, so you're stuck out there. All right. Well, I'm glad that you guys had a good time, and I'm glad he's having such a wonderful vacation with not going anywhere. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Jason Whitlock had things to say because he is a lady killer. He had some things to say about some female employees, and now one of them's gone and is firing back at him. It's kind of interesting. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
You're
listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sport.
This is the show for you, Toucher and Hardy.
West for a while.
But there's one that I noticed that you go west and you're not there for very long. And then there's one where you go like all over. Like you go up to Calgary and Edmonton and over to Vancouver.
I was telling Andrew about this before the show. He's like, oh, if you schedule out. I said, yeah. Right after Christmas, we have a road trip that goes Buffalo. That's like the first stop. Then we go from there to Calgary. We do New Year's Eve in Edmonton.
Oh, congratulations.
Which is where you want to be on New Year's Eve. By the way, I will put in a plug. If you got nothing else to do on New Year's Eve, Beersy and I will be on the air at midnight Eastern time, still calling the game. So when the ball drops, like you can tune in. We'll maybe do a countdown or something like that.
That'd be you should.
And then we got then we go to Vancouver and then Seattle for like 3 days on the way back. So
yeah, that was the one I saw that I was like, that one sucks.
Yeah, so that's like a 2-weeker.
Yeah,
and a good chunk of that is going to be spent in sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, that was the one where I saw you went to Calgary and Edmonton, and I was like, okay. And then you were over to Vancouver, and I'm like, that's a lot. Because there's a lot of going back and forth. Like, you even go down south and come right back. Like, and I'm not saying that's better. I'm just saying that like, sometimes you go far away and come back. Anyway, I found it interesting. Yeah. The travel that you guys do, and I don't care if it's on a private plane. It's a lot of travel.
I'd love a travel log, that trip. Just how long it is in the holidays, how cold it is. Just like mental checkpoints with him, like every few days. Just so how we doing? How we hanging in?
Last season when we did, I think we kind of did that trip in reverse, where we went. I think we went to like Vancouver first, and then we went to Seattle, and then it was like Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg. I think might have been on that same trip. And it was like a 14-day trip, and it was around day 8 or 9 that you could tell everybody was ready to. It's like, this is not fun anymore. We need to get home. We still had. Oh, that was the trip. We had to go to, I think, to Detroit on the way back, and we were going to be there for like 3 days because we played on Tuesday. We didn't play again until Saturday, so we're just sitting in Detroit with nothing to do for like 3 days. It was brutal.
You could have gone to Motown. You could have gone and went to Detroit Art Museum.
I went to visit one of the fine casinos in Detroit.
Well, they're right there, the Greektown Casino,
yeah.
friend. Absolutely. That's where I will be spending Thanksgiving, at the Greektown Casino. Because I'm going to the Lions game. I'm going. My ex-wife was kind enough to agree to that. That's what I like to do. All right. So and then Andrew Callahan, of course, is traveling the world following this Patriots team. And where are they out of the country this year?
No, not this year. I'd expect that, though, to pick up next year.
Okay. All right. So, Jason Whitlock works for Clay Travis's media thing, but I'm not positive what that is. And I'm not being cool either. Like, I really don't know. And Joy Taylor worked at Fox, but I think Jason Whitlock used to work at Fox. Now, Jason Whitlock's whole thing is that he's black, but he is like doesn't like black people, is essentially what his deal is. And am I wrong in saying that?
No, that's right.
That's his brand.
Yes,
he's like, look at I think black people are foolish, but then I'm black and da 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 da. So, but he's also, in this, I'm not being cruel. I'm telling you this for a reason. He's probably 400 pounds. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
I don't think he's quite that big anymore.
Okay, so what would you put his weight at in fairness?
I think he's more like 3 bills at this point.
Okay.
Like he's dropped. He's not as big as you probably remember him.
Fair enough.
In many
300 pounds.
Many ways, many senses.
Okay, so he now weighs 300 pounds. In fairness, and I am glad. And here is what he had to say about Joy Taylor. What was the deal? She was like sleeping with people at Fox Sports, which I never understand why that's an issue, but what do I know?
She was named in a lawsuit as having slept with multiple people, an executive, Emmanuel Acho. There might have been one more in there.
Okay.
And so Jason Whitlock considered himself lucky to have dodged that bullet.
Yeah, so which is funny because he's ugly and fat. And so, I mean, he is. He's an ugly fat guy. He just is. I mean, that's what he is. It's not, I'm not mislabeling it. I'm not being mean. If he's going to judge other people's beauty, I do it all the time. If I judge someone else's beauty, I say, believe me, I'm ugly. But I'm not Jason Whitlock ugly. Like Jason Whitlock, you put me in a room with Jason Whitlock, unless I say something, I'm getting everybody. Men and women. All right, so, and I'm ugly. All right, here we go.
For the most part, just kept my distance from Joy Taylor.
So he's saying he kept his distance from Joy Taylor, and then he'll explain.
And I kept my distance, not because I didn't like her. It's just because I knew myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack, like, Jay, keep your distance. That's going to get you into trouble. And so that's what I did. I kept my distance.
And what a smart guy, because obviously she would have slept with him immediately because she just would want to hold the fold that was necessary to have him expose his penis in order to have sex with her. That's her dream, is to lift the protruding skin that over the genitalia area. She must have some fetish of some part. That was one of the funniest things that we played this year, was Jason Whitlock saying, I had to keep my distance from a woman because I knew if I got too close, she was going to want to bang me.
I was in that day, and that was maybe 8 months ago. I've thought about that at least once a week.
Thank you.
I can't,
So have I.
I can't believe how you left this in my brain just to ping around, and I can't sleep, and it's 2 a.m., or I'm driving down to Gillette, and I just go, what the hell is wrong with him? Meaning both you and Whitlock, but because it stays in my brain. It's absurd.
I think about it all the time, too, because there's an amount of, like, false arrogance, which, again, he doesn't think that he could have sex with Joy.
No, he does.
Joy Taylor. No, he doesn't.
He knows himself, Fred. He knows what he's capable of.
Maybe this goes back to our conversation about David Lee Roth. Like, he just has this extruding confidence that he believes he could bag anyone he wants.
What's funny about it is he thinks everyone's dumb enough to go like, oh, yeah, I guess if you say it, it's true. He knows he can't have sex with Joy Taylor.
No, you're wrong. This is a level of narcissism that you just become so detached from reality. He thinks he did himself a favor by keeping his distance.
But there would have to be some level of history of things happening in that way. Like, he's a sports writer who talks on the Clay Travis Network. This, like, you know, Chris Farley, who, while not nearly as heavy as Jason Whitlock and much better looking, he was on Saturday Night Live and funny and in movies and charming and stole the show. Like, Jason Whitlock, what part of his life in the last 20 years has someone went, you know what, I know he's really heavy, but he's a sports writer. Like, I mean, what is the evidence that he could get a good woman?
The outside evidence, it's the story he tells himself. Jason Whitlock is a guy who sleeps with a hooker and says, I think she liked me. It's not about the money.
They don't?
See?
Now you're assuming that they don't like you.
I mean, I haven't been to Cincinnati as much as your friend has, but, you know.
I did not sleep with a prostitute. I never have slept with one. All right, here we go. This is Joy Taylor now. Now she's been fired. Do we know why? Like, I understand why you can't sleep with your boss, but I don't understand why you can't sleep with someone you work with. Like, isn't that the whole, like, being in the proximity of someone makes it like, now we're not around women very often at all. Like, it's certainly on this morning show, but just because people don't come into the office, but I would imagine if you spend 8 hours a day in the proximity of someone and you're talking, wouldn't that be, you'd be far more likely to build a relationship with them. Right. And wouldn't that make both people happier?
Yeah, it's a mere exposure effect.
Well,
more you're around someone, more you typically tend to like them.
Like, I remember when I had, like, real jobs, like, where you went into work and, like, worked with people, like, I would have crushes on people all the time.
That's how my parents met.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that happened. Anyway, that's
is this why we bag on Wallach so much over here? Just something you're trying to express but don't know how to put into words?
Oh, no, I've told him many times. When he's over at the window grabbing his nuts, like thinking about how he's going to his in-laws' house and he can't wait to get out of here.
You're just tossing that in your spank bank? The image of Wallach?
Dump that. No, I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. All right, this is Joy Taylor responding to Jason Whitlock's. He had to keep his distance because, she would have been so drawn to him. She couldn't have slept. Yeah, he knows what he's capable of, which almost sounds, I don't know, rapey. All right, so here we go.
Dump that.
I don't know how much. Yeah, no, don't, because I'm on her side. No, I don't know if I've gone like, I know what I'm capable of with a woman. Like, what are you trying to say? What are you capable of, you maniac? Capable of?
That peanut butter skin.
I got to stay away from her.
You
She
sound
might
like
wind up in my trunk by the end of the night.
By the way, when you say peanut butter skin, doesn't that sound like that's killing someone? Like peanut butter skin?
It's like Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, exactly. It's Buffalo Bill. Put lotion on your skin. I'm going to cut it off.
But that's my point. He thinks that's a great line. He's like, oh, I still got it when that came to his brain. He shared it with the world.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he played football, I guess, in college with Jeff George, so maybe he thinks that maybe he was with girls and he could get away with stuff. I don't know. But anyway, here is Joy Taylor for whatever. I have not heard this, but here is her response. And by the way, she's a beautiful woman, but she's no like great talent. But here's Joy Taylor, just to get it, out there that neither of these people are phenomenal talents. But here we go.
Every time someone brings up Jason Whitlock, I can't believe he's still with us. I don't think anything works hard.
Well, he's heavy, but that doesn't mean he deserves to die. Now look, a long life, not likely. Just if you go by
She's about to explain why.
No, I understand. But
that's a good line.
But I stopped it for my humor.
Yeah.
All right, please. Don't tell me how to do my business. I don't tell you how to write your columns. Now, listen.
I'm just saying she has a good line coming up.
Yeah, but I wanted to make it first.
Okay.
I want to be the funny one. All right, here we go.
Every time someone brings up Jason Whitlock, I can't believe he's still with us. I don't think anything works harder than his cholesterol, if I'm being honest.
When he said that rack.
Okay, so before you go on, I've never watched this, okay? I am only aware of this.
Oh, why wouldn't you watch it? I hate when people say that. I'd watch it. The first thing I do is watch it. It's great. He's claiming he could have slept with you if he only would have, not even if he tried, just if he would have allowed himself around you.
From adjacent conversation. I did not watch a single second of this. I couldn't give a less, and I have not consumed any of it.
Well, I'm going to give you
He said something about peanut butter, right?
Yeah, that peanut
what a
butter.
shock.
The
food.
Yeah. Peanut butter skin.
All right, that's a good line. Thank you.
Peanut butter skin.
Okay.
And when I was working with her, we would always see her rack, and I wanted to stay away from her because I knew what I would have done.
Well, he's so desirable.
Yeah. But we love Jason.
No, we do. I do not. No, we don't. Who loves Jason? Does God love Jason?
Yeah, I do.
Who is this interviewing her?
It's Cam Newton.
Why does he feel the
Cam
need to say
Newton?
that he loves Jason Whitlock? What a wimp. I don't want to offend the guy that I'm saying that, said that he could sleep with you and that he's fat.
Who loves Jason? Does God love Jason?
Probably not.
But we love Jason.
No, we do. I do not. No, we don't. Who loves Jason? Does God love Jason?
Yeah, I do.
I do not. I do not love Jason. This is you say what you need to say. I do not. I don't love everybody.
He gives me reason. It's like, okay, bro. I can't wait to see him. I want to see him.
You will never see him.
Why is that?
You will never. Where are you going to see him? A hole? He is not going outside.
Well, you're not going to see him in a hole. That would have to be more of a construction site. Now you're assuming he could fit in a hole. Come on.
He's only 3 bills now. Come on.
When they're saying you're only 3 bills. Congratulations.
Because
where is he gonna go?
When I see, it's like, bro, I never see my man. I just be wanting to.
You will never see him.
Where you at, bro?
He's hiding, which is where you should say. I don't ever talk about him because I don't think about him because I don't care. But you're never gonna see him.
I can't wait.
I don't think he goes to the grocery store. You're not gonna see him. You can wait forever. You're not going to see him.
Okay, that's why there's too many podcasts. That interview, he blew it completely. I don't understand why he didn't have the audio of it.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, but why does he have a podcast?
Because what else is he doing these days?
I don't know.
Put his outfits and his hats on and be on camera.
Go organize clothes by size for the homeless. I don't know. Go do something. What do you got a effing podcast for? Joy Taylor is a good guest. At this point, why does he get her? And then, look, she ain't going to do this show, but why can't someone who has at least a elementary ability to interview someone do the interview? It all digress down to I don't see Jason Whitlock anywhere? Who cares where you see Jason Whitlock? Play the audio for her. Have him insult him.
Yeah.
What he said was ridiculous. You could have had a fun thing. Oh, my God, with these podcasts. And there's only so many people on the planet. And if everyone has a podcast and they're all doing the same effing format of interviewing people, and 99% of them, and that's being way too generous, don't know how to interview anyone, we're in big trouble. Joy Taylor was just wasted on Cam Newton.
I've never watched this.
Yeah, well, I should have said, what you should have said is, you've never seen it. Here it is. Here it is. This is where it is. And then laughed and then encouraged her to make fun of him.
112,000 views in 3 days on this episode of the podcast on YouTube.
And how many of those do you think have been paid for?
No doubt his most viewed. She also kind of blew it, in my opinion, because she lands her punches, right? But you can clearly tell they're scripted. And she's doing the thing that I hear all the time, players, coaches, we don't listen to the noise. We don't read anything from the media. Clearly you do, okay? Because you know what you're responding to here.
Right.
If you just acknowledge, yeah, I seen the video, someone sent it to me, you're not any weaker for that. So for him not to press on that, be like, come on. Yeah,
Andrew,
I don't have to relay this
Andrew,
to you.
don't give her the option. Play it for her. You didn't see it. Here it is.
But I think it's obvious Cam Newton blew that, because also the only thing he added was Jason Whitlock, quote, gives me reason, which I don't know what that means.
Because it doesn't mean anything, because he doesn't have any business having a microphone in front of him.
I agree with you. My point is, if Joy Taylor wanted a safe space, which clearly that podcast is, as is a lot of ex-athlete podcasts, including the biggest one, the Pat McAfee Show, where you just get a pulpit, you go say whatever you want, and you're unchecked and you're not challenged, she could have done a better job there too, even for someone who got a decent chunk of flesh, of which there's plenty, as we've documented, from Jason Whitlock.
If we had Joy Taylor on, the last thing I do would this would be the safest space it could ever be. I'm on her side, and I would have, but I would have gotten her to say worse crap about him. I mean, yeah, of course Pat McAfee's a safe space. That's what all these guys do. They have people on and they just let them go on and on and on and on and on and
so
on. So
that's why it doesn't surprise me that Cam Newton blew it. The thing to me is that Joy Taylor could have gone full scorched earth, and I think she did, just like Jason Whitlock thinks he does. And they're both wrong.
I think that if a skilled interviewer of even someone who had an elementary idea of how to interview someone could have gotten her to go to scorched earth because she wanted to.
Yeah.
But then he confused it by making it about him and not making it about him in a way to give her permission to go further. I like him. I love him. Like, why would you say that? You're like interrupting everything. I love him. Oh, okay. Well, you just killed the whole vibe of making fun of him. Like,
well,
this is her.
So desirable.
He said a bunch of like insane crap about her. She has a chance to respond, and your response to her insulting him is, well, I love him? Because why? What, you don't want him to write about you? Big fatso? What's he going to do to you? Oh, my God, I hate it. Again, there's guys that have podcasts that are talented. I understand that. But not a lot of them. It drives me crazy. All right, very good. I know it annoys everyone else that I do this. All right, we will be back in just a moment. Andrew Callahan's here. We will not waste it.
We got some intel.
We have intel. We will be with Patriot Intel in just a moment.
I don't think anything works harder than his cholesterol.
Toucher and Hardy.
And Andrew Callahan, who, strangely enough, and to our great fortune, covers the Patriots. And today is a big day for the Patriots. Is it not, Andrew Callahan?
It is 7.5 hours, just under actually, till final cuts. 53-man roster. The Patriots are at 76, so they have to get rid of 23 guys or clear those spots via trade or waiving guys or cutting them or put them on injured reserve. So busy day.
Okay, so what has happened so far that we should know about, and what are you anticipating happening later today?
So we know, dating back to the middle of last week, that the Patriots have been open to and, in fact, shopping Kyle Duggar and Anthony Jennings. And if the fact that 4 days passed from the time I first reported that last week to then Ian Rappaport announcing to the world, oh, by the way, in case anybody missed it, the Patriots are shopping Kyle Duggar, come and get him, the phones are quiet. And what I can add to that, after Ian tweeted, I think that was Sunday, is that the Patriots phones have been quiet across the board. It's 8:32 right now in the morning. Things could obviously change. But as of right now, I do not expect anything major here from the Patriots on cutdown day. They would like to get off of Kyle Duggar, Anthony Jennings, some backup offensive linemen. Vidarian Lowe, Demontre Jacobs have been thrown out there. I can add Cole Strange to that mix. The problem is, two things for the Patriots. Number one, nobody wants their stuff. And it's hard to sell things that nobody wants. Number two is, they realize, and you start to hear this in Mike Vrabel's comments in recent days, that they're more than a piece or two or three away. He said, we're going to have to go to, quote, great lengths to fix this roster. So, Jacoby Myers, for example, requested trade yesterday. It's the biggest news in the NFL after, everyone who's been holding in, oh, surprise, surprise, except for Michael Parsons, gets a new contract after training camp is over. The issue is, with Myers, he would probably be their best receiver if they traded for him. But he's not as big of an upgrade to them where it's worth giving up a Pop Douglas or Kayshon Boutte in a late-round pick to make that happen. Because they'd rather have those picks to continue adding to positions that clearly are of need, and maybe not even starting level like left tackle and left guard, but just say your third safety. Because right now you're looking at Jabril Peppers, good. And then it's Jalen Hawkins, who's kind of a journeyman, and a fourth-round rookie in Craig Woodson. They need depth pretty much everywhere on defense.
Yeah, are they? So what you're saying is, and I would agree with this, that they are not in a position to give up future assets for current players that are not like young, like not like kids.
Yes.
And so, yeah, if you bring in a veteran receiver, could it lead to like maybe a win where you normally wouldn't have gotten one? Maybe, but is that worth giving up? And even if you're using those picks to trade in the offseason, or to maneuver in the draft in the offseason, is it worth giving up any kind of future asset in order to get better in the meantime? Unless, again, it's by some miracle, some young player that you feel has this incredible untapped potential.
Correct. And I think it's important to remember the teams you see most active this time of year and even in the offseason and the trade deadline when we get to early November are those that have clear spots in where they are as a franchise. Meaning the stage is either year one of a rebuild or they're competing and you're going for it. So you're either trying to acquire picks and young players or you are sending out picks to get veterans to help you win now. The Patriots are in like year 1.5, 2 of a rebuild. This is not an excuse. I expect them to win 9 games this season, but the point is they're not in a position to go, okay, we're a Jacoby Myers win away from getting 10 wins. Okay, cool. You just gave up a future pick. And they would go, okay, if we have to include, as I suggested, on my own, no reporting on that, DeMario Douglas or Kayshon Boutte, why would we attach a pick to a guy who's going to give us probably 70 to 80% of what Myers would do? And he's under contract for an extra year. Both of them are 2023 draft picks, and they're going to be cheaper and younger for a guy who's better now, but ultimately for what we want to do in rebuilding this, it is not a better asset probably for where we want to go.
And there's that debate with the offensive line, too. Like, would you sacrifice I heard Greg Bedard talking about this, but I think we've talked about it before, too. Would you sacrifice early wins to get younger players that you imagine have a future with the team, some experience?
You mean like starting Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, even though it might not be your best
You're going to start
win?
Will. I take it you're going to start Will Campbell anyway.
Right.
But more Will, like Wilson. Would is that something you would do to kind of just get experience in there? Like maybe you lose a little bit in your chances to win early in the season, but ideally these guys are performing earlier in their career than they normally would have been.
Yeah, so they are in a place where you could choose to do that. Speaking broadly about teams that are in a year 1.5 or year 2 of rebuild. Let's just call it year 2. That's what it is. But they don't have the talent to even make that decision.
Can I just go, why would it be year 2 if they acquired nothing in year 1?
Well, you acquired the rookie quarterback and you lost a lot, so you got another top 5 pick. That, to me, is standard year 1 rebuild activity.
Okay.
But to Greg's point, just to wrap that up quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
When Jared Wilson's a third-round rookie playing a new position at left guard, and you go, okay, they're doing this to serve two masters. Win now, well enough, but also in the long term. Your backup option's Ben Brown. You know what I mean? Like, are you trying to tell me that Ben Brown is a appreciably better option? But, Ty goes to the kid because we want to get him some reps. No, I don't think so. I think they think they've got two options right now, and you have to pick one of them, and Jared Wilson wins out. There aren't many decisions where you go, this player should be starting over the current starter, but the current starter's younger. That's why he's getting the reps. They just don't have enough good players to even make those decisions.
Okay. No, what I was saying about I understand that last year was a rebuilding year, but other than May, they didn't get anyone in the draft, and also they re-signed guys that they're looking to move. So it's not much of a head start for Vrabel. Do you feel that Vrabel, and then I want to get into how you guys get information maybe after the break, but do you, with Vrabel, do you think that he thought this team was better when he took over and now is realizing by what he's saying that it's not? Or do you think he's always known this and now he's just tempering expectations a little bit?
He's always known it because you remember the press conference. Like, this is the one line I think everybody took away. I don't know if we're good enough right now to take advantage of bad football. Like, teams can trip and fall on their faces in front of us, and we might not be able to walk around them. That's what that said. So at that point, he doesn't know what they're going to do. Free agency, the draft, those come and go, and they obviously add a lot of talent. But even with that, you have to see it on the field. Because it's not only just, okay, Milton Williams is here, Carlton Davis, and Will Campbell, blah, blah, blah. You're meshing with new coaches in different schemes, and you don't know what a guy's going to be like day 15 at camp when you're really starting to figure out who's got it and who doesn't and who's tougher and who's getting better and who's not until you get there. And I think right now, their problems, which they expected, bad pass protection, not good enough defensive depth, and you're starting to figure out some of the kinks with the receivers. In some instances are worse, and some are better. But the only way you know that is to get to this point of camp in the preseason and go, okay, this is really what we've got.
Do you think receivers better and the line is worse than expectations, or how would you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And let's be clear, they didn't ignore offensive line. This is a problem they ran into last year. They tried, they swung and they missed. Guys didn't want to come here. They offered a lot more money. There's not much more you could do than offer Ronnie Stanley like 10, 15, 20% more. Chris Godwin, $10 million extra. Come on up, please, please, please sign us. And he says no. But no, the receivers are better. Booty's been better. Holland is better than they expected. Pop Douglas is their best receiver, and we're waiting to see what Stephon Diggs has when he finally hits the field.
Yeah, and we talk about this with Bird all the time, is that there's this notion, well, they have a lot of money under the cap, and it's like, well, yeah, okay, so you just want them to sign every free agent, and then sign them to not sign them to 1-year deals, and then that money's gone. And teams don't let franchise players that they want to build around get to free agency. They don't. Like the players in their prime that teams want to keep, they can keep. They find ways to keep them. I mean, like you just mentioned, you saw it in Cincinnati. That team sucks with their dumb owner, and they were able to keep Chase and Higgins, and then they were able to put a Band-Aid on the situation with Hutchinson or whatever the hell his name is, Hawkinson or whatever the hell his name is. They were able to do that. So this notion that they were going to go crazy, and I'm defending the Patriots. This notion that there's just this freewheeling free agency frenzy that you can do, and then what? Then you got a bunch of old guys other teams didn't want,
right?
And then so yeah, you carry some cap over. But you can't just use all that money in free agency. That money, if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, is better retaining players that you've drafted and you've developed that other teams would really want, and then you can extend them into contract.
Which is what they tried to do last year, and so those contracts.
But they just picked the wrong guys.
For the most part, went poorly. Duggar, Ramondre Stevenson, as of right now, Barmore could go on. Here's the biggest problem, though, for the Patriots from a roster standpoint, and this goes back 2 off seasons when I remember asking Elliot Wolf, basically, how are you going to get the players and positions that everybody else wants, okay, going at the same time? Because the NFL has come to mirror the NBA in the same way that star players, or the ones that play the most important positions, do not get to free agency, which means you are limited to 2 avenues for roster building, for receivers, quarterbacks, star pass rushers,
corners,
and left tackles. Corners, too.
And number 1 corners.
Exact. Number 1 corners for sure. That means you have to draft them or you have to trade for them. In either instance, you're probably giving up a lot of draft capital, a high pick, or you're trading that pick to go get those players. And when they tried to do that, DK Metcalf or any other number of players, Brandon Ayuk a year ago, they haven't been able to do it. So they don't have a lot of building blocks where you go, okay, who are we building around? Drake May, Christian Gonzalez, that's kind of it. They're hoping Will Campbell.
And Trevion Henderson is a running back, but looks like he could be a special running back.
Yeah, and for the next 3-4 years, right?
Right,
you know, second contract for running back. Stevenson got one, but how's he look since he signed that?
Right,
great.
You got him for the next 3-4 years. Yeah, and you can look at a team like the Rams, and they were, that whole F them picks thing.
Yeah, they're not doing that anymore.
Well, no, they're not. And also, they traded for Stafford, and they traded for all those guys that they got. They traded picks. They didn't sign them in free agency. And look at what the Lions did with what they got from the Rams. They hit on everything, and now they're better than the Rams. So, look, the Rams won a Super Bowl.
And they drafted really well, right?
And they drafted around that.
Sewell, left tackle. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, dude, they drafted everything. Laporta,
yes.
They drafted everything.
At big positions, though, and that's where you have to get it.
Deep in drafts, and yes.
And they've missed. Receiver Jalen Polk last year, a tackle on Caden Wallace was a whiff. All these guys. Drake May's been the one hit. And that's their biggest issue.
Yeah, the notion that it's funny to even debate it because there isn't one. The notion that you don't have to draft well to compete and win in the NFL is just not right. You have to. Like, even if you trade picks for established players, the Rams drafted Puka Nacua, like these guys that they got later in drafts, like they stayed solvent by drafting well, even though they had been giving away picks. It's just there's no other way to do it. And when you suck, you draft so horribly, almost criminally. Cole Strange is a guard you took in the first round from some godforsaken college that no one's ever heard of that you liked because he didn't wear gloves. And now he's not even going to make the team. A guard in the first round. You take a guard in the first round and you go, that's my guard. The next 10 years he's playing guard for me. That's my guard. It's Quentin Nelson is what you want. Vera Tucker. You want guy, and Vera Tucker can't stay healthy, but nonetheless, you want guys that this is my guard.
Right, and to fill a job, you remember earlier that offseason, they traded Shaq Mason away, which was kind of a salary dump. Yeah. So that was roster hole you created by just not paying him. And one thing, because you mentioned the Rams, this is a small tidbit, did this big story about Stretch, their new number 2 basically in terms of power underneath Vrabel in New England. He was in L.A. last year with McVay, and it started as you're a game management guy, you're a sounding board, whatever. I know from talking to people there, he got a close-up look at what they're doing with their scouting, which really overhauled in the last 2-3 years. Jordan Rodriguez, who's a great writer for The Athletic, detailed a ton of it. The Rams' last 2 draft classes, whatever they're doing over there, are the best in the NFL over this last 2-year span. I wouldn't be surprised if he brought some of that here. How much of it played a role versus Ryan Cowden and what Vrabel thought and what Elliot Wolf thought, I don't know. No clue.
But
I think
they brought in a brain that's had success
and has been somewhere else that says
that's had success.
This is what they're doing, and I think it's a good.
Well, that's
thing
a positive. Well, yeah, it's about time. All right, we'll be right back. Andrew Callahan's in control of the next couple breaks. We'll talk about how this information's getting out and much more on the way.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Jaron Duran and Roman Anthony both homered. Red Sox beat the Orioles last night 4-3. Pitcher Richard Fitz left the game with tightness in his biceps, said he's going to be reevaluated today. Another game in Baltimore tonight with Lucas Giolito getting the start. Patriots and the rest of the NFL have until 4 o'clock to cut their rosters down to 53 players. Tom Pelissero just reported the Pats are waiving tackle Demontre Jacobs. No more chicken cutlets in New York. Quarterback Tommy DeVito being waived by the Giants this morning. Commanders and receiver Terry McLaurin yesterday agreeing to a new 3-year extension worth up to $96 million. Bengals give pass rusher Trey Hendrickson an extra $14 million this season. He'll make $30 million, and he still gets to be an unrestricted free agent at year's end. Raiders receiver Jacoby Myers has told that team he wants a trade after failing to find agreement on a new contract. Raiders yesterday signed free agent receiver Amari Cooper to a 1-year deal. They traded for quarterback Kenny Pickett from Cleveland last night. And Texans running back Joe Mixon going to miss at least the first 4 games of the season with an ankle injury. Headlines brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Dave Portnoy, and Brian Scalabrini. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines at 9 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports.
It's out about people wanting trades, players wanting trades, players holding out for contracts. You're in the media. How does this information get to you guys?
It's a good question, Fred. I'd say this time of year, and especially with the transactions, most of it comes from agents. I think some people know that because they're professional middlemen, right? And they got a certain set of skills. Same as you could describe the media, middlemen with a certain set of skills. But there's the one that could tell you stuff about the player, as well as their conversations with the team, tending their relationship with the teams. But that's where it's coming from. And I think people who are observing this a little bit more closely could tell that some tweets from national insiders, and I say this without judgment, guys who do jobs that I can never do, don't want to do, but have reported more than I ever will. Is that copy and pasted from like the player's mother or their agent or both? And how that flow of information to me affects how we digest that. Maybe people don't care about how sanitized some of this stuff is or PR or corporate speak. But if you want to know why that is, it's mostly because it comes from the agent side.
Yeah, and a lot of times they even have to credit the agent. I mean, if you're not getting a hint that the agents are part of it when they announce a signing and put who the agents were that negotiated it, that might be a little clue into like when Schefter puts something and goes, Sal Goodrich is represented by blah 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 company, like. And it gives them particular agents, too. It's not only just the company. It's the particular agents.
And then they also massively overvalue the contract. It's like, here's what the maximum is when that guy's not going to see half of that money.
And that's a great example because as soon as the tweet goes out, and look, I'm not washing myself of this or distancing and doing the lamest media thing, which is the second to complaining about other media not getting credit, but is, me discussing the media as if I'm not a part of it, right? But the information you get when the first contract number comes out and it's not remotely close to what the deal is, but you're sold on this giant number that sounds like hundreds of millions of dollars. And then you go, okay, what's the guarantee?
Yeah, it's like $50 million guaranteed, but it could be $120 million.
$104 million.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot different. That's like saying if you got your paycheck, but there were no taxes. You know what I mean? Like there's the raw number, and then there's the one post-taxes that you really care about. So when they're willing to use that kind of I don't want to say like eyewash, but the rosy side, right? Whatever the agent wants out there that makes them look better, that sacrifices some of the real information and your understanding, and just really, let's put it this way, the truth of what's going on.
Right, because, again, these guys, their business is basically being the guy that the agent gives the information to first, which I always don't understand necessarily why. I've never understood why, if I own a media entity like ESPN, that I would let anyone put anything on anything that wasn't ESPN. For instance, if the news was today Micah Parsons, this hasn't happened, but today Micah Parsons signs with the Cowboys. And I have Adam Schefter, who hears it from Micah Parsons' agent, congratulations. His job is to just give out, he's not a writer, his job is just to give information out. He makes like $1 million doing it, good for him. And he goes and does that. I've never understood why there is a thing on like X, which I'm not even just saying this, most people aren't on. And then there's not even a link because he hasn't had time to write a story to ESPN. So you're getting credit for Schefter having it. Who cares? Like, wouldn't it be, I have Schefter, he gets information first, go to my site where I sell advertising, and that's when you'll get the information. So on a day like today, you want to know who your team's cutting. Well, I better go to ESPN. I better go to, MMQB. I better go to da-da-da-da-da.
BostonHerald.com. How about that?
Well, I would just assume people are doing that anyway. But you guys don't do that, though. You guys put a link to a story, which I understand. Like, that I get. Like, here's a way that a few of you, and from what I understand, the traffic you guys get from Twitter is very, very low. At least Correct. That's what I've been told from other writers. And so,
relative to other streams
relative to
traffic,
other streams of traffic, right. Correct. And that's how it is in radio, too. You get very little out of it. There's no real reason to be on it. But I've always been so this idea is that I'm getting it out first. Okay, great. But I don't know what good it does me to employ you, and then you put it out on something that I don't monetize. I've never understood that.
And there's a step further to this, but to answer your question, I think it's just about building the following, right? So whenever Adam Schefter eventually does drop a link or a video or something to ESPN, you've increased your own audience, which then you can leverage whenever you really do want to use it. In the meantime, you try to put out things as fast as possible so it gets shared, and when it gets shared, you get new followers. That's the short answer to that.
Okay.
To me, though, is when you zoom out, there are two types of reporting that really go on, I would say, in sports. Number one is the transactional side we're all very familiar with, right? But you could also call it the beat the press release type of reporting. They're going to tell you anyway. But because we all now care, and have for the last 15 years, about this race to Twitter, and I include myself in this, that you get to be there first, right? That desire hands leverage to the people who are giving you that information. And so what they'll do is then have to package it or demand that you package it in a way that we just discussed. Credit me if I'm the agent, or if you're the team, as I already hit on earlier in the show. The Kyle Duggar tweet from Ian Rappaport, who, again, reported more than I ever will, is clearly from the team. Just a last-ditch effort. Please let everyone know that Kyle Duggar is available, something we were upset when Callahan leaked it earlier in the week, okay? To me, that is a problem when you become so desirous of this race to Twitter and being first that you're willing to sacrifice something along the way to your audience and your own credibility, which makes this ironic. Your credibility supposedly comes from your following and your popularity and all the things we just talked about, when in reality, your information gets watered down and loses some of that in the process. And you also don't do the second type of reporting, since I mentioned there were two, and I know we got the clock. The stuff they're not going to tell you about. The stuff that does not get the press release, right? That's the stuff, at least in my career, and this isn't a day for this, this is all transactions today, that you want to do more of. But that's the stuff you will not see as much from the Schefters, the Rappaports, the national
because
people.
they're not. I said it. They're not writers,
and they're beholden to the people who are giving them the information.
They're not writers. They're not telling you inside stories. They're literally just breaking information that they've been told by someone. Yes, exactly. And I don't know why you have to hear it first. I don't know why. I don't get it at all.
But it's crazy how it's changed the kind of fundamentals of the job.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I understand deeply. Look, dude, I'm not on Twitter, and it's my own fault. But like, I'm not even on it as people they need it as an information gathering source. No, you don't. You really don't. Like, John needs to be on it during the show in case he has to put something in his headlines, but I don't need to be. All right, we'll be back in just one moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
The FM.
this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people.
From the Telfair Tire Studios, WBZ-FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox Roman Anthony and Jaron Duran both went deep as they beat the Orioles last night 4-3. Richard Fitz left that game with tightness in his biceps. He's going to be reevaluated today. Game 2 of the 4-game series tonight in Baltimore. Lucas Giolito on the mound. Patriots and the rest of the NFL have until 4 o'clock to cut their rosters down to 53 players. The process has begun this morning. Reports say the Patriots are waiving tackle DeMontre Jacobs, also releasing corner Miles Battle. Giants have waived legendary former Syracuse quarterback Tommy DeVito. Chiefs releasing former Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi. Receiver Terry McLaurin gets a new 3-year extension from the Commanders after holding in. He gets up to $96 million on that deal. Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson also agreeing to nearly double his salary, up to $30 million this year, and he'll be an unrestricted free agent after the season. Former Pats receiver Jacoby Myers wants a trade out of Las Vegas after he and the Raiders failed to reach agreement on a new contract. Raiders say they do not plan on trading him. They signed free agent receiver Amari Cooper to a 1-year deal yesterday. They also traded for quarterback Kenny Pickett from Cleveland to back up Geno Smith. Headlines are brought to you by the McGovern Automotive Group. McGovern and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. For more info on how to enter, follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Complete rules and details at 985thesportshub.com. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines in around 30 minutes.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's Home for Sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday morning.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Let's do this. It takes 2 steps from the other night. And one might see you can get it right. It takes 2 steps from the other night. And one might see you can get it right.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Ryan Johnston, Andrew Callahan in for Wallach and Hardy. That means that we have 2 stats and a lie, Callahan's own bit that he so famously brought to our attention. And by the way, I went down in the elevator again, and again, it did the thing where it starts to go down and goes ka-kunk, and then sits there for like 3 seconds, and then goes down. And this time...
That's a fun feeling.
You know what? This time, dude, I just felt like anger. Just felt anger. I was just like, no, I don't want this. I don't like how this is happening time and time again.
What did the elevator say back?
Well, I didn't say it out loud. I said it in my mind. I said it, if I was writing a book, I would have to do the cheap trick of having a narrator, my own narrator. You know, if it's a movie, when you have the narrator, it's kind of a trick, like Shakespearean trick. All right, so
just real quick, adding on to the cuts, Parker Romo has just been released, so you got a new kicker.
Credit to Mark Daniels and Mass Live, who had that friend of the show.
And he,
Andy Borregales?
Andy Borregales has won the Patriots kicking competition. My guy Doug Kite has confirmed both.
Is it because he was drafted? Did they cut the guy that they didn't draft? They kept the kid they drafted, right?
Yes.
And do you think that the kid that they drafted legitimately won the kicking competition?
No, but it was close enough that they could tell themselves, we're going to work with the guy that we wanted more.
Okay. All right. Pish posh, but okay. All right, Andrew, I have a pencil and paper.
Good.
I bought pencils and brought them in just a week ago. Because I'm not positive there's a utility closet anymore.
I don't think I've ever gotten to play two stats in a lie. I'm
You
excited.
have once.
Have I?
Yep.
But since Hardy is not here, he's usually the one that is keeping notes. So I will keep notes in my own way.
I just know, having watched this, on YouTube every single week, my favorite part of this is when Fred gets confused about which one he's supposed to pick.
How are you feeling about this season?
I got a lot. Like, I figured a lot of them out, but I couldn't figure out how to articulate the way that they should be positioned in the game, if that makes any sense. Like, if I wasn't dumb in a certain way, I would have gotten them right. So I was clever enough in a way to, like, know the right answer, but way too stupid to pick the right answer, if that makes any sense.
It would go, so number 1 is the lie, and I'm going with number 2.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what the brain thing was with me, and it got to the point where, like,
you were worried.
Off air, I'd be like, I think something's wrong with me, and John and Artie would, like, comfort me and be like, no, I don't think anything's, like, really wrong with you cognitively. I just think that this is something that you're tripping on, because it got to a point where I'm not doing it to be cute. Like, I just was making that mistake. All right. What do we have today? You tell me.
So I have 2 stats, 1 lie. All of them are Patriots. So we're going to go back to the original roots of the game. I will give you 3 bits of information. It's your job to identify which one is the lie. Now, 12, should we just call this week 0? Like college football does?
Yeah, I like this. This will be week 0.
Okay, so we will start keeping standings next week.
Yeah.
Wallach, Hardy, and Fred competing to see who can name the most lies. There will be, announced next week, a slight twist to season 2 of 2 Stats and a Lie.
Yeah, right now the odds are for John winning plus 5 million.
Said a new twist. We'll announce that on Tuesday.
Teaser for next week. All right, we ready?
I'll play 2 so there's 3 people.
Perfect.
Good. Actually, you know what? Might as well hit another intro.
Yes.
We got 18 of them, so what the hell?
Drew's got 2 stats, baby, but only 1 lie, maybe. 2 stats, 1 lie. Won't you give it a try?
Take it away.
Number 1, Jacoby Myers is the Patriots' leading receiver over the past 5 seasons.
Explain.
This is a great start. Over the past 5 seasons, put it this way, Jacoby Myers has more receiving yards as a Patriot than anyone else.
Okay, well, that was not a dumb question by
That's
me.
total, not for a single season.
Total. Over the last 5 seasons, all of the receiving yards, all the players who played for the Patriots, Jacoby Myers, a Raider of the last 2 years, leads everybody.
Okay.
That's number 1. Number 2, the Patriots have more rookies on their roster today than players from all their other draft classes in franchise history combined. So you have more rookies on the roster than players they drafted combined.
Okay. Okay, so they have more rookies on the team this year that are rookies this year than if you took every other draft and combined those players that are currently on the roster.
Correct.
Okay.
Number 3, Marcus Jones has more career touchdowns than all of the wide receivers drafted after him. So he's a 2022 draft pick. These are those receivers: Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Jalen Polk, and Javon Baker. Marcus Jones has more career touchdowns as defensive back, punt returner, and wide receiver, does all those things, than all of the receivers they drafted after him: Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Jalen Polk, and Javon Baker. That's individually, not combined. Not a 4-on-1 here.
Right. Polk, Baker, who else?
Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte.
Okay. All right. Okay. One of these is a lie. Okay. Go ahead, Adam, because you don't follow football.
Well, I do now. I produce the Toucher and Hardy show. I'm going to go with number 1 as the lie. That is my guess, because again, I'm not going to cheat and dive into stats on the computer here, but that's the one that seems to be the most dubious of the trio.
In wide receiver or anybody? Most receiving yards?
Most receiving yards. Anybody. Pass catcher.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So there's some vagaries there that I think would give Andrew some wiggle room to make that not true.
Yes.
So that's why I am going with number 1 as the lie.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to go with number 2. The more rookies than all draft classes combined. I think that's kind of low-hanging fruit. Everybody talks about how bad the Patriots are, and they have been, but that's a lot. I know they wiped out basically their entire draft class from last year.
Or they're about to.
Yeah, by the end of the day, there will be like nobody left from that draft class, right, potentially. But I'm going to go number 2 as the lie.
Okay. For me, it's between 1 and 2. I believe 3 is true because Polk, Baker, and Booty, I'm not sure they have a touchdown between them. And Douglas, while he's had his injury problems, so I'm going to say that 3 is true. So I'm eliminating that. Now, my thing is Hunter Henry is the thorn in my side with the receiving yards. If it is not Jacoby Myers, I would assume it would be Hunter Henry. But in the draft class this year, and they kept the kicker. Everyone, you know what? Just for, I'm going to agree with Adam just to give him some support. I'm going to say that number 1 is the lie.
Okay. Run them down one more time for the audience. Number 1, Jacoby Myers is the Patriots' leading receiver over the past 5 seasons, most receiving yards of any player. Number 2, the Patriots have more rookies on their roster than players they selected from every other draft class in franchise history combined. Number 3, cornerback Marcus Jones has more career touchdowns than all the receivers the Patriots drafted after him in 2022. Those receivers, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Jalen Polk, Jalen Baker. Fellas, it's a good thing this is week 0 because you're all wrong. The lie was number 3.
Oh. All right. Now, who out of those players has more touchdowns?
So Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte match Marcus Jones. All of them have 3 career touchdowns.
Oh, all right.
Jalen Polk has 2. Javon Baker has 0.
Jacoby Myers has more receiving yards than Hunter Henry, huh?
Your instincts were on, though. Hunter Henry is right behind him. Myers over the last 5 seasons, 2,439 yards. Hunter Henry, 2,235 yards. The only player above 2,000 over the last 5 years combined is Kendrick Bourne, and then Pop Douglas is just over 1,000.
Okay, well, there you go. Nicholas, what do you have to say about this?
Andrew has 2 stats, but he has just 1 lie. Andrew has 2 stats, but he has just 1 lie.
Do you have the Michael Jackson one?
Oh, sure, I can play that one. Sure.
Come on, girl. Andrew's got 2 stats. Andrew's got 2 stats, but he's got 1 lie. But he's got 1 lie. Andrew's got 2 stats. Andrew's got 2 stats, but he's got 1 lie. But he's got 1 lie. Woo! Come on, girl.
Yeah. There you go.
By the way, rookies on the roster, 21, including the undrafted. Just 15 players on the Patriots roster right now from their draft classes from 2024 and everyone before them. 15. That's it.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I mean, that's they've
bad.
drafted just so poorly, and the idea that you think they're going to get 9 wins, so good. I think that I pounded that under on the wins. Believe me. I also think they're going to get killed. I don't know if they'll get killed, but I think that Vegas wins outright a week from Sunday. What are your feelings on that?
I could totally see it.
Yeah.
But week 1 is also the most anticipated. I say this all the time. Most anticipated game and the least telling. You know, Bengals Pats last year is example A.
Bengals should have won that game. Bengals outplayed them for the majority of that game.
I'd say it was close, but the Bengals had the worst. Like the long snapper forced a fumble.
Yeah.
And you lost a fumble separate from that at the 2-yard line about the score. So, that, I think when you do that, you deserve to lose.
No, I think they deserve to lose. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Bengals made terrible mistakes. And the Patriots were fortunate to get that win. But I just think Pete Carroll is no fool. And I just like Geno Smith over Drake May starting in a new offense.
Well, Max Crosby against Will Campbell, who's 21 and rookie offensive linemen stink. That's a problem that's going to be hard to get around.
Yeah, just how they're going to move him around and position him. I think they'll have success running the ball, the Patriots. And they'll probably hold up a little bit defensively, but I can't see a perfect game from Drake May.
Coin flip, I think.
I think I think the coin lands on the side of Vegas a little bit more. All right, look, we'll be back with our email. We'll see if my children can indeed navigate themselves here to the radio station because we have to leave right when the show's over to go to the airport. I was during that segment giving my son directions. We'll see how that goes. Dan Roach says Myers is a technicality. He says Myers is a technicality, and he has not elaborated. Let me see if he has elaborated.
Roachie's a regular 2 stats and live player, so he just sounds like sour grapes.
Yeah, he was texting me about Diggs.
Diggs has officially signed a contract with the Patriots.
Nope. Talking about
and has
yards.
way more yards.
It's yards as a Patriot.
Patriots
right?
leading receiver.
Yeah,
which means yards gained as a Patriot.
Yeah, you were correct, and he is wrong.
Myers played 3 seasons, by the way, in this span. Hunter Henry 4.
Yeah,
that again says something about the state.
You're not
Patriots
lumping in his Raiders numbers, right? It's
No.
Patriots.
No.
That would be just an open and shut case. But I thought, Hunter Henry's had some good games. I just thought, I'm surprised that those receivers have had 3 touchdowns. To be honest with you, I am a little surprised because Douglas has shown out, but I don't recall him. Having like this traumatic. Maybe he has a game where he had a couple. I don't know.
He had a long drought, and that was also what Jacoby Myers did. There seems to be a curse with their slot guys. It takes a while.
Okay. All right. We will be back. We will get to our award-winning email segment. I hope I'm not the only one who has emails, but that may be the case. All right. So we'll be back in just a moment.
email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Okay. We're Toucher and Hardy. Wallach and Hardy are out. That leaves us with Ryan Johnston and Andrew Callahan, who have been fantastic today. If you want to email the show, even though I'm gone after this and we'll be gone until after Labor Day, you can do so by going to 985thesportshub.com and finding our emails. You can follow the show at Toucher and Hardy on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow me at Fred Toucher. We had a picture that Nicholas took of us with A.J. DeBonza, who is going to be, by all accounts, the number one pick in the NBA draft. He's been in studio quite often, even though he seems like he desperately does not want to be here. And we have him in.
What was the most interesting thing he said? I missed that yesterday.
His body language was such as I kind of pulled out of the interview and let the other two do it for a while. Like, I'm like, I'll take it once, but maybe not twice. And I like his dad a lot, and AJ's just a kid, so I'm not going to, go like, what the hell? But, like, it's like, I get it, you don't want to be here, but I didn't ask you to come. Like, right. your dad asked if he could come. Like, I don't, and he did the same thing down the hall, so it's like, I don't, like.
Just run the clock out here.
Yeah, and Roach just kept going and going and going, and I was like, all right, dude, stop. All right, I want to read these two emails because it just shows you what I get. This is just titled Politics. It's from Steve. He's emailed me several times since June. I've never gotten back to him. Fred, David Muir, do you know who that is? It doesn't matter.
ABC News.
World News Tonight.
Okay. Joy Reid. Again, I don't know. Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern, Fred Toucher. What do they have in common? Libtards that don't understand that they are in the minority and the people have heard enough. So I get that one. Okay. And then I get this one. It is called Marble is Great for Statues. And it goes as follows. Freddie T. Resilience. I can't overemphasize how much I love you. So he's a nice guy. But he goes, I am beyond done with the constant whining about COVID management. You didn't know better or even try to help, so shut up. Your plans is to make kids victims for the remainder of their lives because they had to be with their families for a year and a half. My friends and sons are growing up in Israel. I'm sure the kids in Gaza, life is also constant horror. I know a kid who moved here after his parents were slaughtered in Ukraine. You whined nonstop for a year because your kid couldn't shoot hoops. That's not the point, obviously, and you're feigning ignorance that was what my point was. My point was there was ridiculous restrictions that they should have just allowed because we would have been safer without them. So anyway, he just goes on and on and on about how much I was a COVID denier. So you have one person on the same day that says I am a quote-unquote, am I allowed to say libtard, or is that considered
you're
offensive?
at twice
I would
now.
prefer if you didn't. I don't think it's
Okay.
technically using a slur for.
Try one more time.
But it's in reference to me, so I
yes,
felt
I know, but I just
whatever.
That
I won't
word
say
is,
it again.
It's ridiculous. People that use that word have zero credibility. No.
Adam, do I use
and I know
the
you're
word?
not. No, I'm not saying you're using it. I'm just saying
I wouldn't use it in reference to
it's become
anything.
normalized, and I hate that it's become normalized because it uses a slur.
Fair
it
enough.
Just shouldn't be used.
Fair enough. But that was what I was
Yes.
called. So on one hand, I am considered a extreme liberal. And on the other hand, in the same day, and by the way, this is regarding nothing I said today. They just came today. I am an extreme liberal along the likes of, I know, of Stephen Colbert and Howard Stern, the only two that I knew, which is how much news I consume. And on the other hand, I am a COVID denier that is in lockstep with the MAGA movement. And that, you know what? In fairness, that's where I'd like to be positioned. I seriously would. I would like people that are extraordinarily far left to think that I'm against them, and I would like people that are extremely far right to think that I'm against them. I am in neither camp. I really am not, and I'm not playing the fence.
Fair point.
I'm really not. I don't think most people are, to be honest with you.
No, it's like there's like a 5 or 10% on either wing.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't
Like,
think it makes you like a non-intellectual or like a pussy or like afraid or not having any conviction to not like completely buy into like some like incredibly involved super sanctimonious movement. I don't think that is some willful ignorance. In fact, I think it speaks of a kind of a deeper thinking. I understand if you're extremely passionate about an issue that might be considered like radical by some. That I understand. An issue, but like a dogma or like a overlying philosophy with no nuance, I have a problem with that.
You've hit on it, Fred. You didn't even have to say deep thinker. You just had to say thinker. Like Ryan, to your point, if you're in that like 5% on either side, you've abandoned thought. You've subscribed to a dogma, and you've said, I'm going to let this train of thought, these people that put it together, do my thinking for me and follow whatever they say.
Those people are just the loudest, and it's like social media. Those are the people that every post has to be about politics. Every post has to be about, owning the liberals or whatever. Most people don't care that much. They don't care that much about anything. It's just like, 75% of us just want to get through my day.
What did you care about? What you did politics. What do people care about the most? It's easy in elections. The price of stuff and taxes is what people care the most about.
The stuff that directly impacts them, and almost all of that is economic.
And other people have made this point, but in studying what happened, speaking of COVID, post-COVID, a lot of the developed countries across the planet swung the other way in their ensuing election because of the rise in prices. So whatever incumbent party there was typically lost, as did this country's. Whatever that presiding president was over COVID lost in the next election because you're dealing with high prices, to your point, and issues economically.
And to be honest with you, I am socially liberal on most issues. I'm not anti-abortion and things of that nature, but I did have a big problem with how COVID was handled, and I think now that I've read the CDC report from the OWN Center of Disease Control, I believe that I was not off. I don't like the idea of the government, and I did not like the lockstep. Now, I'm not about vaccines and insanity like that, but just the lockstep of like everything everyone's saying is right. Like, I don't know. I just didn't like that. And that's my personal thing. And that was more about the damage being done to children. I don't think my kids are scarred forever. But I do think it did improve my life in a way because it got me sober. But the thing is that I don't look. Israel handled it better. Just read the CDC. They said we should have done what Israel did, and that was let the kids back in school. But no more COVID. This is from Blind Scott, because he knows the show so much. He says, "I'd rather drive around Knoxville, Tennessee, in the Boogermobile, which is my father's car."
The Boogermobile?
Yeah, he's got
just flicks him.
What looks like boogers, and certainly what is nails that he's chewed off, like strewn about the front of the car. It's not a pleasant place to be. My kids do not like riding in it. With you and your kids and have to live next to the St. Anthony's Festival in the North End this weekend. Well, you live in the North End, Scott, and I don't think you pay rent. So let's not count your chickens. I read the politics one.
I got one.
Let me just read this last one, and then you go, and then I won't read another one. This is inflated numbers. I've become fascinated almost to a point when football season starts. I'll stop this. I didn't know that podcast numbers and online social media numbers are all inflated and not real. This came as a great shock to me. I'm not being sarcastic. I was like, wait a second. What? Like, you could just buy YouTube views? Like, what are people advertising on? So, hey, Fred, did you see the Boom guys? Now, these are the boy and his son, and occasionally the Rizzler and the cousins.
I am aware of these people. I've never seen them do anything other than like occasionally pop up on a wrestling
like
show
YouTube
or something.
Kardashians. I'm aware they're famous. I can't tell you why.
Well, no, they're famous for going boom, and I'm not diminishing what they do. That is what they do.
Okay.
That's it. And then they have a rap song that sounds like It's Tricky, kind of, that they do over and over. They change the lyrics, but it annoys my son, so I sometimes will send him videos, or I'll go, it's 3:30, and they'll go, what? And I'll go, well, we bring the Boom about 3:15, and we're late. All right, so it says, hey, Fred, did you see the Boom guys put out a song that got 6,000 likes, even though they have 3 million followers? Or the singer Doechi, or however you spell her name, couldn't sell concert tickets even though she was so popular a few months ago. I share your fascination with the inflated numbers and things forced on us that we don't actually like. People buying bots or followers is a problem. It's interesting that Twitch is cracking down on it, and popular rich streamers all of a sudden stop streaming. Love the show. That's Frank from New Hampshire. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like even like outside of like a business sense, like which is fraud. I mean, it is. If people are buying advertising based on fake numbers, that's fraudulent. You're committing fraud. But also, when you buy those followers, you're automatically put into my algorithm because they know, because you're buying like apparently middle-aged white guy followers. So now all of a sudden I have stuff like, for a while there, Bert Kreischer, who's not funny, and I don't care what he has to say. And I am, like everyone else, addicted to my phone, and I don't want to see him anymore. All right, continue. You guys go.
So I had a email, but I checked my podcast as you were just listening. Real numbers here. And the latest review on Apple is from someone called News Gingrich. So we can assume where he falls in the spectrum we were talking about.
Yeah, but free trade. So maybe not a Trump fan. Go ahead.
So the title of the review, 5 stars, thank you to News Gingrich, is Bane. And it says, quote, there are some truly dreadful impersonations out there, but Andrew's Bane is not one of them. It actually rivals the Jim Murray Bane. It would be somewhat hilarious in an extended bit. Also, the podcast isn't terrible. I'd listen again, especially if Giardi is in second chair, because we were discussing last week the Wolf-Vrabel dynamic as it came up. And when Wolf's going up there and Giardi asks him, like, hey, by the way, like, if you want player X, Vrabel wants player Y, like, which one do you get? And every time I hear Elliot Wolf answer this question, the scene from The Dark Knight Rises comes into my head. You seen the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Bane's taking over the city. He's in the middle. Whatever politician or businessman who he kind of conspired with to help do that barges into his, de facto city hall or whatever, and he's demanding this and upset he didn't get this, and that. And so Bane tells some guy in the back who's also helping him, leave us. And the guy who had barged in says, no, I'm in charge. You don't go anywhere. And Bane puts a hand to his face and goes, do you feel in charge? And it just says everything. Hey, do you feel in charge?
Yeah.
Your money and your infrastructure have been important to this point. Elliot, your free agent spending has been very important. They're not necessary anymore. That's just every single time.
Do you feel bad for Elliot Wolf?
No.
Okay.
I don't have any ill will. I don't have any bad feelings towards him.
Well, no.
But what I'm saying is the absence of bad feelings is not that he's been stripped of, what was his previous status before. Like, I'm sure in his contract it's written, you've got roster control, right? Because that's what he signed after he officially got the job in this total sham of a search 2 springs ago. But Mike Vrabel comes in. He brings in the number 2. Stretches basically the number 3, in different ways depending on what you're talking about. But the point is, when you're surrounded by people who have new power and it's Mike Vrabel's show, do you feel in charge, Elliot? Probably not.
He does not feel in charge. All right. Ryan, do you get emails of any sort?
I do not.
Okay, very good. Well, you're lucky. Count yourself lucky. Did people bitch about you on the Bruins podcast, on the Bruin broadcast?
Not that I've heard.
It seems you seem universally loved, which I'll be honest.
I don't know about that, but
no, people seem to universally love you.
Okay, I love them all back.
Well, listen, who wouldn't? I mean,
I do think that's rare though among play-by-play guys, right? Like, people like Joe Buck now, but he had to go through 20 years of slop and garbage and Twitter hate to get there, right?
I don't understand why anyone hates a play-by-play guy except for Jim Nantz, and the only reason to hate Jim Nantz is because he insists upon himself. Well, why don't you let my kids in? Is that?
Oh, they made it.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Let's see if they have their bags. The
perfume bottle.
Is that he insists? It's
got its own bag.
It's a 10-pound perfume bottle. But that he insists upon himself, and he acts like what he's doing is very important. That is annoying. Right. Now, color commentary. Now that can be annoying. I take you no further than Tony Romo.
And that person's also delivering bad news. Any fan doesn't want to hear bad news. They're going to be pissed at the guy who's giving it to you.
Or they're going.
I do respect Joe Buck because a few years back he just came out, because people would just, I guess, constantly be like, "Oh, Joe Buck hates my team. Joe Buck hates my team," and he just came out. He's like, "Yes, I hate your team, and I hate every other team too."
Well, he's a Cardinal
that's
fan.
just fact. That's why I broadcast.
He admitted to the hair plugs. I don't know.
Well, he almost went deaf from the hair plugs.
Yes.
And you know who loved him? Artie Lang. And he had that tremendous. Did you ever see the Joe Buck show that he tried on HBO?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And he had his friends.
Is that the one? Did Artie like set the studio on fire? Is that the one?
Pretty much.
Well, verbally. Yeah. So he had on the guy from Saturday Night Live that was in the Vacation remake, Jason Sudeikis and Paul Rudd, because he went to high school with them in Kansas City or in St. Louis or wherever the hell. And he had them on, and it was bad. Like he's not a good talk show host in that atmosphere. Then Artie comes on. Artie's, sniffed a few Vicodin and he's had a few shots. And Artie just, in a very vulgar way, they're on HBO, on a live show, just lays into how bad the show is. And it was fantastic. Because Artie's a wreck. Buck can't handle it. Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis are like, why? Why are we friends with you? Why do we have to do this? It's fantastic. All right, look. My children have made it. I'm proud of both of you. If you're on Zoom, you can see. Is that some sort of wedding ring that you're... Oh, no, it's your hair. I thought you're wearing some kind of workout wedding ring. And I was thinking, like, finally. All right. You're at least engaged. All right. We'll be back, and then I am out of here. And then we can get stuck in LaGuardia all day. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
It is cut down day in the NFL. Patriots and the rest of the teams have until 4 o'clock to get their rosters down to 53 players. Pats have already started with the cuts today, waiving tackle DeMontre Jacobs. Corners Miles Battle and Brandon Crossley are both gone, as is kicker Parker Romo. Giants are waiving quarterback Tommy DeVito. Chiefs releasing former Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi. Two guys not going anywhere. Terry McLaurin, who's staying in Washington, getting a 3-year extension yesterday. It's worth up to $96 million. He ends his hold-in. So did Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson, who nearly doubles his salary for this year to $30 million, and he gets to be an unrestricted free agent at year's end. Former Pats receiver Jacoby Myers has told the Raiders he wants to be traded after they couldn't come to an agreement on a new contract. Raiders say they will not trade Myers, but then they also went out and signed free agent receiver Amari Cooper to a 1-year deal. In addition, Las Vegas traded for quarterback Kenny Pickett from Cleveland. He's going to back up Geno Smith. Red Sox with a 4-3 win last night in Baltimore. Game 2 of that 4-game series tonight. Lucas Giolito will be on the mound. Pitcher Richard Fitz left the game with tightness in his biceps. He's going to be reevaluated today. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the A Voice for Mikey Autism Foundation Gala on Wednesday, September 3rd at the Cape Club in Sharon. Guests enjoy an evening of dinner, dancing, celebrity appearances, and more. 100% of the proceeds go to support families struggling to care for an autistic child. To purchase tickets or donate, please visit avoiceformikey.com. That's avoiceformikey.com. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines at 10 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Now at Whole Foods Market, Prime members get 20% off New York strip steaks through August 26th. As always, there are no antibiotics ever. Pair with sautéed shrimp for a surf and turf dinner. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
This summer, get big savings at Bernard.
Come celebrate summer at Audi Natick with huge savings and selection. Lease the all-new 2025 Audi Q5 for only $699 per month for 36 months with only $42.76 down. MSRP $55,690. Or get 0.99% APR financing for up to 72 months on our hottest models. So come celebrate summer and save big at Audi Natick. See you for details. 5870 good sign. 10,000 miles per year.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we can be connected here and there.
Let's watch a movie.
And we have Netflix included to enjoy our favorite shows and movies.
¿Qué tal esta? Bacanísima, pero ya la vi.
Now the hard part is getting them to agree on a movie.
Switch today and get the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI, all on the best network in the U.S. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla. Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025.
For over 37 years, College Hype has been Boston's go-to for high-quality custom apparel. From screen printing to embroidery, they do it all. In-house with unmatched craftsmanship and lightning-fast turnaround. They're your one-stop shop for all your custom apparel. Whether it's for your school, business, or big event, they bring your brand to life with gear that stands out and lasts. Visit collegehype.com to see what the hype is all about. That's collegehype.com. College Hype, making a difference, one t-shirt at a time.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
When life throws you a curveball, trust Catches Law, New England's hometown law firm. With over 4 decades of success and a local team that truly cares, let Catches Law fight for you. Remember, there's no fee unless you win. Visit catcheslaw.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Millions are choosing NordVPN to stay safer online. Get NordVPN today with 77% off and up to 3 months extra. NordVPN will encrypt your online traffic and help you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. Get the special NordVPN deal today at nordvpn.com. This offer includes a 77% discount on a 2-year plan and up to 3 extra months. Savings and additional terms apply and can be found on nordvpn.com. The offer is valid until October 15th.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and
Half toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Finishing things up, I want to thank Andrew Callahan from the Boston Herald. Ryan Johnson, who, of course, is the voice of your Boston Bruins. It's a very exciting time for the Boston Bruins as he will be traveling on New Year's Eve to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We're on the air East Coast time at midnight.
Yeah, it's a 9:30 Eastern time face-off out in Edmonton.
Yes.
On New Year's Eve.
Yes, it is something else.
You got to kiss Beersy at midnight?
I'll leave that up to him.
I have a feeling if he kissed Beers would just be like, like I don't see him having a big problem about it. Like Beers kind of goes with the flow. Beers was the kind of guy like you'd be at something, you go, do you want to drink? And he'd be like, and even if he said you don't want to drink, he'd be like, like he seems to kind of that Canadian hockey personality that everyone loves so much. All right, Adam. So you are in for the rest of the week, right?
Yes, I am. Tomorrow it's myself producing Ryan and Michael Hawley. And then Michael Hawley, I think, stays on Thursday, and we have Matt McCarthy in on Thursday, and then Matt McCarthy.
You'll have me in,
Morrow's
and I will
back.
be a ball of energy because I will just be Well, let's just hope there better be a winning streak in those Red Sox socks. They better be holding a magic 8-ball or better yet, a lucky horseshoe in their Red Sox, or I'm going to come at them hard. I'm going to come at them, and I'm going to come at them hard like a dang porcupine in a briar patch full of fun. If you catch my drift, you silly gooses. Anywho, that's for another day. There was a guy filling in for Joe last night that was in Nashville, and he was on the radio here, and I've heard him on the Mad Dog channel. He's not bad either.
Huh.
He was just like a dude that was broadcast from Nashville, but he was doing it for this particular station. It was odd because Joe did our show yesterday, so he wasn't on at night.
Did he have an accent? Like, is he talking about the Sox?
No.
Like
I think he's a dude that's from Chicago. But what's his name?
He's not on the schedule. Matt McCarthy's on the schedule for last night. Maybe there was a last-minute change.
There was a change of heart. Something came up, a big thing at Fenway where I had to go over there and put just, I don't know, spray vibe, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. I retired to my fainting couch because I was overwhelmed. Because it's that time of year. All right. Well, look. It has been decided that I am spending my Thanksgiving in Detroit with the family. This excites me very much.
That is good.
Not Edmonton?
Not Edmonton.
Will you go to the Lions game?
That is why we go. I will take I will take Milo to the Lions game. And that means that I only have to buy 2 tickets because Zoe did not want to go. They're behind me right now. But Zoe was like, I don't want to go to the game. And then we got to the game, and she got on Snapchat, and her friend saw that she was at the game, and she realized she was at an event where, like, literally everyone she knew were watching. And all of a sudden, she lit up a little bit. But then I took them to this very fancy place in Detroit for Thanksgiving dinner, and they had a pre-fixed menu, and unfortunately they liked nothing on it, and it was just you got what you got.
20 years ago.
So we ended up getting a pizza at a bar afterwards, which ended up being good. I enjoyed my time there.
You know, let her just go to the casino. It's across the street.
Oh no!
Give her some cash.
No. She had
fake ID.
No. She had a baccarat situation where she almost lost. We almost lost our mortgage.
Deep debt. Just can't stop.
Yeah, she's like, you ever see the Flintstones where bad. She's like Fred Flintstone. She goes crazy. Very addicted personality. Very addicted to gambling. I had to put all these things on her phone so she can't gamble.
You got to get like a fake slot machine in the hotel room, then just plop her down and just. Or next to the grandma's, the penny slots.
Well, I did have penny slot machines in my house, and maybe that's where the addiction took hold. All right, you two, thank you so much, Ryan and Andrew. Thank you to everyone. Hopefully everything goes well today.